transition. So, welcome all to the Naughty List, one of our holiday specials here on Altered Echo Archives. You will be able to see on the screen the lovely GM and cast who will be performing this game for you. You will also know that at the top of our display and in the corner are information about our charity project. We are doing fundraising for the Dots RPG project. You can either scan the QR code, go to their website, or even just click on that little donate to charity that is at the bottom of the Twitch screen. Dots does amazing work for accessibility for the TTRPG scene, including braille dice and translating a variety of source books into braille for the vision impaired. I am going to now turn it over to the wonderful Will. Thank you very much.
Hi, my voice is gone immediately. Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here at Altered Echo Archives. I am not used to saying that. I am not usually on this channel. It's a great honor to be running this game for you here today. We are going to be playing a little bit of Shadowrun. Technically, we're going to be playing a little bit of Sixth World, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse Shadowrun hack of a hack of Shadowrun, which is a game that you may have heard of. So it's a long, complicated journey to get here, but here we are, and we're going to be getting started very soon. But first, I figure we'll go around and introduce ourselves, introduce the characters that everybody's going to be playing. I am, of course, happy to go first. As previously stated, my name is Will. I normally can be found mostly over at Live from the Apocalypse, which is a not-for-profit TTRPG studio. It's a Twitch channel, podcast feed, all of the above, where everything we do benefits nonprofits or progressive organizations. If you want to find us, we're Live from the Apocalypse on pretty much everything, except Twitter, which has a character limit. And you should think about how long your name is before you start doing things with that brand. So we're Live from the APOC on Twitter if you want to follow us there. But everything else lives under that same name. And that's pretty much it. Everything I do for the most part is over there. I will kick it over to Sarah, who is next to me on the overlay.
Hi, I am Sarah, or Baba Yaga. She, they pronouns. You can find me on the Twitters at ShutUpSarah, and I'm all over the place. But yeah, I'm going to be playing the Troll Street Dock Baroness, and I'm very excited to play a healer for once. Oh, by the way, guys, I don't really heal ever, so this is going to be a fun experiment.
Love that.
It's probably not going to come up. I wouldn't worry about it. JD, you're next.
Hi, I'm JD, he, they pronouns, and you can find me on socials at JD, not Jason Dean, pretty much everywhere, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, all of the above. Currently, Live from the Apocalypse and Tales from the Table Studios have joint custody over me, so you can find me at one of those places most nights. And for today, I will be playing Serial Killer, aka CK, who is the group's hacker. And I know nothing about hacking, so this is going to be really fun. Everything I've learned has been by watching the movie Hackers. So I think that's all I need to know, and I think I've got a good impression.
Perfect. Stephanie.
I'm Stephanie. You can find me at SBrownWrites on Twitter, and I'm a casual lurker in the Live from the Apocalypse Discord. Currently, I am set to be in a few in one of their Hasmus one-shots for the holidays, the Beast of Yule. And yeah, first time playing for Altered Echoes and first time playing Shadowrun, so this is going to be a treat. And I will be playing the elf face Alex Nova.
Not to be confused with Alex, the player. Alex.
Hey everybody, I'm Alex. You can find me on Twitter as Mightiest Finn, or I also write an indie TTRPG set in a post-apocalyptic America called Backwater. So you can find me at Backwater TTRPG as well. Most of my time is dedicated to writing on that and sort of lurking elsewhere, but I do like to drop in and play some games with friends sometimes. You can see both me and Will in Carrie Smith's Deadlands, Death Toll Outbreak, where we tried to survive the zombie apocalypse. Won't tell you how that went. But otherwise, yeah, I've got another Call of Cthulhu redacted project coming out with VJ Stonecraft pretty soon. Or we're recording that now, but that's going to be coming out later. But otherwise, I'm going to be playing the group's mage, Goldface. And as JD doesn't know anything about hacking, I don't know anything about magic. So this could go well as for all of us.
It's all right. It's all made up, especially in Shadowrun. If you're not familiar with Shadowrun, which you probably are if you're watching this, let's be honest. It is a cyberpunk game with the added caveat that magic is also real. And about in the year 2011 or so, random mutations started showing up within the general population, where some people were being born as elves or dwarves or orcs or trolls. And that, plus the existence of magic, plus the growing capitalist dystopia of a cyberpunk setting, has contributed to the setting that we now find ourselves in one snowy Christmas Eve in the city of Seattle. So where we are going to begin is on said quiet street, as a gentle snow is falling all around. The streets are lit with neon lights that bounce off of the falling snowflakes, reflecting up against the walls and creating this strange juxtaposition of softly falling snow and harsh neon light. There are bars and establishments that are still open. There is music pouring out, particularly loudly, a sort of glitchy electronica version of a general Christmas carol. We'll say it's Carol of the Bells, and it's muffled, of course, as we see a figure stumble into view. Stephanie, would you describe Alex Nova?
Yeah, so Alex Nova also goes by just Nova. She is an elf. She is about 5'2". She's got light brown hair that's current style is she's got a bit of a shaved undercut, and going for her, she has several piercings along the shell of her very pointed ear, very bright blue eyes, and her attire is very casually fashionable. She's got nice about knee-high leather boots with some neon purple trim, and just kind of a leather jacket. She's kind of going for nondescript right now, but she is currently making her way down the street, enjoying the snow.
As you move down the street, Nova, it's hard to say you are enjoying it as the events of the last couple of hours replay in your mind.
Sometimes she lies to herself.
Don't we all? You flash back, the light reflecting off of the falling snow reminds you of the flashes of muzzled gunfire that you recently saw, and you flash back to the quiet night that you had been enjoying previously back in the home base of your Shadowrunner crew, where you were all sort of gathered around your common area, just a sort of a collection of like secondhand sofas and things like that. One wall dominated by an enormous monitor, probably illegally obtained, where you were, I'm assuming probably watching the channel that just shows logs burning and plays Christmas carols. You had in one corner of the room there is a Christmas tree that resembles nothing so much as industrial art. Just a lot of different metal pieces that have been welded together with different LEDs flashing at various points. Maybe a few like holograms of Christmas ornaments or things like that also being shown. The four of you were all sort of gathered there together. A couple people were noticeably absent. I think the leader, or at least the sort of field commander of your Shadowrunner team, was not with you, nor was your team's rigger, the person, your driver, who also occasionally autonomously pilots like a drone into sticky situations. Your leader, who maybe some of you, depending on how long you've been affiliated with this particular Shadowrunner team, might know his real name, although the rest of you probably only know him by his alias of Cratchit. And he is, of course, a street samurai. Highly capable. He has been active as a Shadowrunner for a very long time, getting up there in age, actually, which is very rare to see in the Shadowrunning community. And once you had recently returned from the job that you had just pulled, details of this job were a little hazy. It wasn't the most clear. Wasn't the most clear assignment you'd ever been given. However, it went pretty flawlessly by all accounts. You managed to pull it off. You managed to accomplish exactly what you had been sent in to accomplish. And I think probably CK, you would have probably been the only one who knew exactly what it was you were there to do. But it went well.
Okay.
It went well.
Interesting.
It did. It definitely did. Now, you've all gathered around their presence under that welded together approximation of a Christmas tree, when all of a sudden the monitor changes. That log and burning fire, the Christmas carols that are playing, the screen flickers, goes staticky for a second, and then it displays the icon that you are all too familiar with, that you've seen before. This would be the identifying ID of the particular Mr. Johnson that you all work closely with. Mr. Johnson is sort of a catch-all term for a fixer in the Shadowrun world. Anybody who gets runner crews their job operates under the moniker of Mr. Johnson to protect their identity and keep themselves a secret. The particular one that you work with always uses this same sort of icon, which is a brown wrapped parcel tied together with twine. The icon pops up, interrupting the Christmas carols, interrupting the ambiance. There's no video, which sometimes there is. Instead, all you hear on the other end is coughing. And you hear a voice that says, "If you're hearing this, get out now. They're already there." And it is at that moment that proximity alarms started to blare out throughout your home, throughout the shared space that you all have as a team. things got dicey from there. We flash back to the alley where Nova, you look around up and down the street. You don't see any immediate signs of any presence, but you know that the safe house, your runner crew's safe house, is just about half a block up. And if anybody survived, that's where they'd be.
She takes a moment. She kind of musses her hair to hide the undercut. She taps a button on the boots and changes the purple neon to black. She flips her coat inside out because it is reversible, and she starts making her way towards the safe house, sticking to the not abandoned empty streets because that might be a little too sus, but towards the more shadowed ones.
Perfect. The safe house does appear to be abandoned. It appears to be boarded up and closed off, but you know that that is just a front. You know that there is a specific switch hidden under one of the boards across the front of it that if you press it will let you in. And assuming you press it, it slides open.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick scan of the snow in the area to make sure it doesn't look overly disturbed, and just give button a push and slip on inside very cautiously.
Cool. You do take note that the front stoop of this particular boarded up looking house is cleared of snow. Does not appear to have any snow at all, which stops there from being any footprints to be seen of anybody stepping into it. But also, now that you notice it, does strike you as a little suspicious. Or at least would to any passerbys who didn't know exactly what this was. Kind of a trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As the door slides open, you step in, and it is as you would expect from a safe house. Maybe you have been in here before, maybe you have not. But as you step in, as you'd expect from a safe house, it's basically a sort of a concrete box. Very secure, but very without frills, very bare bones. There's some equipment probably stored up against one wall, maybe a weapons rack. You were all probably forced to leave without the majority of your gear. So this does contain some backup equipment, which you're welcome to grab. But most notably, you see 3 of your other team members have already been here. And I think that is an opportunity for us to go around and describe everybody else. Keeping roughly the same order since we've already met Nova. What about Baroness? What does Baroness look like?
Well, Baroness is a troll, so we're talking 8 foot, north of 750 pounds, but working on gaining up, get that mass.
It's bulking season.
Yep. And Baroness is an old troll. She's been around, so she probably knows what Cratchit's real name is, because it's very much, oh God, the safe house again. And yeah, so she would just be there trying to get like med kit, trying to refill, and like has handmade crocheted bandages and stuff, because you don't want to do and don't buy anything. Everything has to be homemade. So yeah, big like country granny in a bomb shelter vibes generally from Baroness. Yeah. And then just a huge old troll.
Perfect.
Goals.
Baroness, as you are working, you also flash back to your home. And right after the proximity alarms, right after the security system started going off, as you all started to run and scatter in opposite directions, you made for the garage immediately. probably just by muscle memory, since, that's where the vehicles are. That's where you would normally go before you pull a job. And as the heavy hangar door for the garage started to open, sliding overhead, you were met on the other side with a gun pointed directly at your face. There were 3 people fully geared up with weapons pointed at you, clearly displaying the icon of Lone Star Security. And shortly after that, we'll say the Humvee that has normally operated as your team's means of transportation, especially when on jobs, rumbled to life and swept across the front of you, like inches from your face, going as quickly as it could possibly accelerate, hitting all 3 of those Lone Star agents and taking them out, trapping them under the wheels. But in the driver's seat, you would have seen your rigger, and you would have seen that he was already he had already been shot several times. You could see through the bullet holes in the windshield that, if you had to guess what had happened, probably the Lone Star Security people came in while he was working on something, maybe took him out, thought that they took him out, but he wasn't quite. He would have told you to run, and you fled, brought you to the safe house. CK. What does CK look like?
Real,
yes.
Sorry. I wouldn't have run. I would have lumbered.
Right. Sorry, an important distinction. The difference obviously being that, when you run, people can get in your way.
Incredible.
CK.
So CK is also an elf. He similarly has a number of piercings in his pointed ears. His hair is black and curly, and it's actually pretty long. Like, he could probably tie it back, but it's the kind of hair that goes like all over the place when it gets long. So it's just kind of a chaotic black and purple streaked conglomeration of hair. The most notable thing about him is his eyes, because they are cybernetic. And I think what he is doing here is going back through and, having taken recorder, looking back at all of the footage he accumulated of the events that happened that night, and trying to put the pieces together to start to figure out how this went down and what the next steps are. His eyes themselves look a lot like Blind Mag's eyes from Repo, the genetic opera. So they are very much unnatural looking. They glitch at times, like have kind of that glitch effect. And I think sometimes when he actually reviews the memory, he can project it similarly to how she can. So that is what he is doing.
Love that. And from the angle of the footage that you can review, that you have access to from your feed, you actually can see pretty much exactly what went down when you bolted, because you, I think, probably made for where would you have gone, do you think? What would have been your priority?
I think getting out would have been the priority. So I think CK is the sort of person to have a go bag ready. So like, he would have gone, grabbed that, and headed for whatever the nearest exit would have been.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, your base, which at this point I'm kind of thinking was maybe like a converted auto shop, given the presence of the garage, definitely would have had a front door, which you absolutely could have bolted for. You would have left the living room, and then I think just in the next room, probably you would have been, you would have made for the front door, pulled it open, and I think standing on the other side, you actually would have seen Cratchit. You would have seen your leader, the sort of grizzled, older human man. Hard to tell his actual age, except that the stubble on his face has that silvery cast to it, but his head is shaved. He has some scarring across his face. And he is not as heavily armed as you are used to seeing him, but he is not unarmed either. And he would have basically grabbed you by the front of your clothing and pulled you out and started to shove you down the stairs as he pulled out a submachine gun and looked into the house, looked into your home like he was about to run into it. And he would have paused and he would have said, you remember what we did? You remember what you did?
I do.
All you got to do is make it through the night. Make it through the night, and their records get wiped. They won't know who you are. They won't know where to find you. You can start over. You got that?
I've got that.
Make it
Survive
make
the
it through
night.
the night. And then he would have kind of shoved you away from him, said, I'm going to buy you as much time as I can, and run back into the building.
And CK would have followed those orders and he would have just ran.
Perfect. Cool. All right. And Goldface.
So Goldface is, I think he's pacing around at the moment. Like he's feeling a little disoriented, and so there's a lot of just like circling, muttering to himself. He doesn't have the recall ability that CK does, so there's a lot of like stopping, breathing, thinking, walking around again. But Goldface is a human. At the moment, he is dressed in a burgundy terry cloth robe. He's got a white shirt that says Saruman was a narc on it, and it's got like Andy Warhol printed Gandalf from the Fellowship of the Rings, and it's like the Gandalf laughing, but someone has put sunglasses and a big blunt out of his mouth. Otherwise, he's wearing like sleep shorts, really high white tube socks, and red Converse. And he did, I think the one thing he managed to bring out was his wizard shotgun. So he's got that sort of strapped over his back, and like he's just wandering around. But the big thing about Goldface is that he has this literal golden angelic mask that he wears at all times. It has some sort of slit so you can't see his eyes, but he can see out of it. But otherwise, he's just like a sort of olive-skinned. He's bald. You don't know what his features are, and you've probably never seen him without the mask on.
Honestly incredible. And
Love and wizard shotgun.
Does
she
it's
have
just
a
a
name?
shotgun.
yeah, no, that made perfect sense.
But does she have a name? Like, do we have a name for that? Because that's the thing of glory.
I think so. Goldface is not the first person to wear this mask. So I think that Goldface is still pretty new to the whole game. So he doesn't. Let's just say the relationship with the shotgun is ongoing, and we haven't achieved the point of like I'm going to name her yet. So maybe we'll get there.
That's a goal. That's a goal for tonight.
Maybe by dawn.
Maybe
If we survive.
So this is a very interesting and important bit of background lore. The people who wore the mask before Goldface, were they also affiliated with this crew, or is it
Yes.
older than that? Okay.
Yep. Goldface was my dad.
Perfect. So
And
then what I'm going to say is that, sorry, go ahead.
Trent Pirate Roberts.
I was going to say the mask was commissioned by my grandfather, who owned a pharmacy, and I think was just into some kink stuff. But he gave it to my dad, who then, used it for the powers of Shadowrun.
Perfect. I mean, somehow that is incredibly Shadowrun, and I can't explain why, but it is. Absolutely. Awesome. So then I think actually knowing that, you would have known to bolt, you've known that the safest place to bolt would have actually been your room, which probably was once your dad's room, and that in your room there is a fail-safe teleportation circle that leads directly to that particular safe house. So you would have known that was there. Whether you had shared that with any of your teammates, a separate matter for debate, I think.
I think they know about it, but probably in the chaos, it was just like boom, scatter, and so I'm just running on muscle memory. Like teleportation circle, go.
Exactly. You bolted for your room, and I think as you like threw open the door, the first thing you would have seen was that the window to your room had actually been shattered. And that floating right in front of you was a drone, similarly decked out with Lone Star security iconography, with a gun barrel pointed directly in your face. Your quick reflexes saved you. Wizard shotgun came off the shoulder, actually probably like right next to your door, so you could have just grabbed it, and that's why you have it.
Right.
You managed to blast this thing before it even managed to get a shot off at you with your, once again, wizard shotgun. Can't stress that enough. And made it to the circle, slapped it down, channeled some magic into it just to sort of complete the circuit, and then basically vanished in sort of a blur of blue light, reappearing in the safe house, which unfortunately, of course, this is a one-way trip. Nova, that's what you see. You see the rest of your team as it stands now, currently, in the safe house, absorbed in their various activities. Presumably you shut the door behind you.
Yeah. Oh, good. It's not just me.
I'm gonna take a good look at her. You hurt?
I mean, I'm sore, but, it could have been worse.
Throw some pills.
Catch and just down a couple.
Here's some juice. Oh, there's cookies in the back.
Thank you, Baroness. So what the fuck?
Yeah, Goldface is going to turn to serial killer and be like, "What do you got? What is it? What happened? How did those Lone Star bastards get in?"
We got like shouldn't the warnings be longer than that? Like 15
That's what I
seconds or
thought. Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
they should have been.
Well, I mean, clearly they got to Johnson first, and judging by the sound of it, probably worked him over.
Yeah.
We'll do one more flashback here for the sake of disseminating information. CK, you flashback to right before your last job when Cratchit pulled you aside and sat you down and basically said, "Look, I don't want any of the others getting scared, and I think honestly it's easier if we pull this off with just us, but I'm not going to mince words. The mark on this one is a big fish. His name is Klaus. He's a Lone Star higher up. Intel tells us that he is, shall we say, less than cautious with his security access. So the job that we're pulling, it's a lot bigger than we're going to be letting on. What we're going to do is we're going to infect the Lone Star database. We're going to wipe out the records. You understand?
I understand.
Can I trust you to keep this to yourself?
Of course.
Great. And we'll pull you back into the present day.
And so I think CK is reflecting on the questions that he's being asked, reflecting on Cratchit's last words to him, and thinking about those pieces. And I think deciding that it just doesn't make sense to mince words, he's just like, all right, I've got to come clean. That last job wasn't what you all thought it was. And I think that's what's got a target painted on our backs. So do you want the good news or do you want the bad news?
I mean, start with bad news so we have something to look forward to.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody take a cookie, and we're gonna pass out cookies before the bad news.
Just stress eats the entire cookie in one bite.
Just rewriting the canon that Baroness was absolutely baking Christmas cookies when the alarm started to go
And
off.
took them with him.
Decorating, they were already made.
Right.
Incredible. We love it. We love
Just
it
a
so
Tupperware
much.
box.
Mhm.
The streets of Seattle. Sorry.
I just love the idea that that was your priority. You were like, everyone's dying, but I'm going to make sure I save these cookies.
And leave
Take
with the
time.
car through the garage because I want to make sure that I'm not on the streets because it's all like all the hills and everything. Ice in the winter. I'm old. I'm gonna fall and break my hip again. No.
Exactly.
Yep.
Amazing.
Sorry.
No,
So, yeah.
that was an important piece of lore. We needed that.
We really did.
So yeah, CK says, all right, so you already know part of the bad news, which is Lone Star's not too happy with us. You just don't know the reason they're not too happy with us. I was working a little bit of a different job than the one you were, or at least the one you were told we were. And I think we've got the attention of someone who's pretty high up in Lone Star. I think we've got the attention of Klaus. So that's where the good news comes in, though, because the good news is what we were doing was infecting Lone Star Security's database and wiping out the records. So that's the good news. We just have to make it until dawn, and theoretically all records are wiped clean and we're good to go and everything's fine. The bad news is we have to survive until dawn.
So the whole point of the job was to wipe the records?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the information that the rest of you would have been given was that you were there to find a piece of information, to pull it off of this guy's computer. So you basically invaded his personal home, sort of his private estate, when it was empty, and pulled off this job. It went very smoothly. What you're learning now is that it wasn't so much a question of CK pulling information off of it as it was CK leaving something behind.
Cool.
Okay, so if they knew about our base, how much do they know about this place? Is that information they currently have? Goldface asks with a head tilt that says that he's probably furious about that.
God, I can't resist a setup like that. As you say that, I think some of you would notice. Let's see. I think we'll probably do a roll here. Let's see what we're gonna do.
First
Um,
roll.
Woo.
I'm gonna say not Goldface. Who's most likely? We'll say Nova. Nova, can you check
Came in
the
last.
situation? Roll with Sharp.
Sharp. What is my sharp? Okay. That's just 2d6 plus the sharp. Oh,
Mhm.
Jesus. No, that is an 11.
Perfect. Okay. You actually get 3 questions that you can ask.
Okay. A question. Okay.
And you don't have to ask all of them at once. If you want to start with one and then have like 2 holds, you can do that too.
Yes. So have I become aware of something going on at this moment, and that's why, or has nothing happened just yet?
I'm going to say that there is a danger, but what I tell you about the danger is going to depend on what questions you ask me.
Gotcha. What's my enemy's true position?
Okay. And I'm going to say, what I'm going to say you actually see at this point is the feed screens that CK was using to review some of the footage when he wasn't sort of broadcasting it through his cyber eyes. You can see a small screen that is sort of switching between camera angles, and presumably these are sort of set into the outside of the house itself. In that feed, you can see a car that has pulled across the street and parked. It doesn't have any markings officially. It doesn't have like sirens running or anything like that, but it's almost suspicious how unmarked it is.
Cool. So I'm just gonna, in response to Goldface's question, just gonna gesture to the screen, just be like, I think they just got here. Because that is the equivalent of an agent going undercover and not bothering to change his shoes or his haircut.
There is a deep sigh from behind the mask. Just like bone-weary sigh that should not exist in someone this young, but does.
Do you want to hold on to the rest of your questions, or do you want to ask them?
I'll ask, I think, one more for now. What's our best way past the danger?
Interesting. Okay. I will say that there is I'll say that there's a back entrance to the safe house, because obviously there is. Similarly to the way that you sort of came in through a hidden door in the front of the house, there's a back way out that is much less obvious.
I would recommend we grab what we need and book it out the back.
Yes. How much equipment is there for us to load up on before we book it?
Everything that you have on your character sheet is available to you in the safe house.
We love to hear it.
Yep. Perfect. Okay, cool. So if you are loading up and getting ready to go, then that is no problem. I think the only thing, so you're packing up and loading up and getting ready. Baroness, I want you to roll with steady. You're gonna stay frosty.
I am gonna stay frosty. This is what I'm good at. Let me scroll up to the dang thing. Okay, so 2d6. Oh no, that's a 5 plus a 2, so that's 7.
Well, that is a success, but I will present you with a worse outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice. And I think what that is going to be, Baroness, as the largest member of your team, you also have the biggest lungs. And as you are starting to pack up and gather gear around you, you feel yourself starting to become a little woozy. Your perception of the room starts to shift a little bit, almost like you're on a ship that is sort of bucking and rolling under your feet. It's mild for now, but it is starting to slowly build. And,
Okay.
Yep. So you can take the back entrance. The hard choice that I'll present you with is this: you can take the back entrance, but that means that you're gonna be here a little bit longer.
Okay.
Or you can get out through the front door, which is a faster option.
Yep. So Baroness picks up one of the cookies and ain't one of the special ones. Just is like, well, something's happening, and just I'm gonna go at the back, even though I might get knocked out or whatever. I gotta do it. I gotta try.
We just got a donation, apparently.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for supporting this great cause and for joining us. this afternoon. Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you are gonna go out the back still. You're gonna stick around a little bit longer.
I think I'm going to use my last question to ask what should I be on the lookout for.
Okay. There are, as previously established, this is a concrete box, but there are a few vents that are sort of along the floor of this room, just to provide, airflow as is necessary. And as your gaze falls on one of those after listening to Baroness, you can see a slight distortion to the air, almost like a gas was being pumped into the room.
Stay away from the vents. They're gassing us. We need to go.
Perfect. All right. Awesome. So then what I'm going to say then, if you are making that choice, Baroness, you're going to take -1 ongoing because you have been gassed. And everybody else, if you are going to get out quickly enough, because you have a smaller lung capacity, you may not feel the effects of the gas quite so badly. But yeah, perfect. You grab the things you need and you make for the back. Right as you start to do that, you hear a pounding on the front door. Maybe like an initial attempt to batter it in, not realizing that it is steel reinforced and not just the weak boards that it looks like. You would know enough about standard sec operations to know that the next step is going to be hacking into the system that keeps it sealed. But grabbing the things you need, making for the back, you run down a quick corridor. There's a door leading out of the concrete box that you can open. Similarly reinforced steel. They didn't bother to disguise this one, which makes total sense. Beyond it is a short hallway that has these like red alarm lights, red security lights in it. As your only lighting source. You run down that one, or lumber. Sorry, trying to be mindful here. And it's a little bit tricky, the lumbering now. I think you kind of have to catch yourself on the wall a couple of times, Baroness, but you still make it out.
There's probably dents in the wall from her like crashing. Okay, go again.
But you finally reach the end of that. You hit the switch and the panel slides open, and you kind of spill out into this back alley behind it. As you do that, though, you are met with a cry of alarm. Somebody who calls out and says, "They're back here." And you see one end of the alley, there is a car parked. This one is marked. This one is clearly a Lone Star vehicle. It does have some siren lights going on the top of it, and you can see one person who has gotten out of the driver's side and is basically just like standing in the open, facing you, has a sidearm pointed at you, almost certainly an Ares Predator, because that is the classic Shadowrun gun. Somebody else, a different Lone Star agent, is getting out of the passenger side at the same time with a weapon in hand as well. What do you do? Who wants the spotlight?
Panic.
Panicking is a good option. You don't even have to roll for that.
Yeah, there's an exit the other, like we could go down the other side.
Yeah,
of the alley.
you can absolutely run down the other alley. The only downside is that you're kind of in like a bottleneck essentially, right? Because you can't really go left or right. They have a clear shot on you.
There's no dumpster or any sorry.
No,
go ahead. I was going to ask about cover too.
Yeah, I was asking you, is there any type of cover?
If you would like to take cover, you absolutely can. I guess I'll ask real quick. Show of hands, is anybody not going to take cover? Is anybody trying to do something cool? Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Perfect. Okay. So the rest of you...
cover. I am the cover. Sorry.
For sure. No, for sure. We'll say that there is a dumpster on one side of the alley, and then like a crate on the other. And between those two, the three of you who are going to die for cover, you absolutely can duck behind there. Baroness, what are you doing?
I'm gonna rock and roll.
Hell yes.
So one of the things about Baroness, or at least the street docs, but so cyber arm, Baroness's cyber arm is has a sorry, scalpels that will come out of fingertips. So she has yeah, because that's fun, and also a little pistol. Which one did I pick? The Beretta is what I picked because I like Berettas. But I also have a submachine gun. So I would like to just like ching ching double and do the submachine gun and just open fire, full auto, not even trying really to hit anything, just to make them scatter.
I
Provide
love that.
cover.
I love that for you. Roll with hard, but subtract 1 because you are gassed.
Yep. Ooh. So love that. That's a 12 minus 1 is
Hey!
11.
Still an 11. You hit and you deal your damage. And you do not have to choose one because you got a 10 plus. You don't have to choose if you're going to take harm back or any of the other bad stuff that could happen to you.
Yay. I have to get the dice out because I didn't grab that before stream.
Totally
Sorry.
fine. Totally fine.
Dice ASMR for a second. And there's no 8s in this? Are you kidding me? Okay, next jar. Sorry.
You're good.
I didn't see that the SMG was that until I read it again. Okay,
yeah,
here's a D8. All right. So I'm using my beautiful pink sparkly dice for my weapons. That is a 4 and a 3.
Okay, perfect. And you're shooting both of them essentially, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spray and pray.
Love it.
They both take some shots. They both get hit by at least one of those. The one who is in front of you, or who is in front of the car, is going to drop after getting hit. You can't tell because it's a submachine gun if you hit him in a vest area or elsewhere, but he's going to drop to the ground and he's actually going to roll under the car in an effort to get out of the way. The one behind the car also looks like you see him reel back like he got hit as well, and he is going to duck down behind to try to take cover. Of those of you crouching now who have cover, is there anything you would like to do?
Yes.
Okay. CK, what do you got?
I would like to, I'm not quite sure how this would go mechanically, but I would like to open a secure channel to reach out to the NPC that I sent to you 5 minutes before starting.
Interesting.
Zero Cool, and see if I can ask them to hit me up with a safe house that might be better secured and where we could regroup, since they likely would not be able to track that, since it would not be ours.
Okay. All right.
JD, what are you doing to me? Johnny Lee, I'm dying. I love this, but I'm also reliving like all of my childhood crushes that made me aware that I was not straight. So thank you.
That
What are
movie made me
TTRPGs
realize I
for?
wasn't straight. Yeah.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, cool. You send off that, you open that secure channel. I think you would hear, so basically you're calling, which, yeah, you would, Zero Cool will take your call. And you hear them sound kind of like groggy. It is Christmas Eve. You get the impression that maybe they're a little bit in their cups.
That's fair. That's valid.
But they say, what? Hold on. Say that again?
It's bad. We need a safe house. Help a guy out?
Is that gunfire?
Yes. Like I said, it's bad.
Okay. All right. I'll see what I can do.
That's all I can ask.
Okay.
But you know, time is a little bit of the essence, so sooner would be good.
Okay. All right. How are you otherwise? It's been a while.
You
Please
know, I miss you. I miss you a lot. We're gonna have to catch up. I'm gonna need to live until morning for us to do that.
Okay, yeah,
But
hit my
yeah.
line, whatever. Cool. All right, they'll get back to you. Awesome, cool. All right, great. Golden Face or Nova?
Is that guns in the background? What's she doing?
So Goldface actually had a similar idea, but first he wanted to look around. Like, we're in an alley. Are there other building entrances into this alley? Like, could we bust a door and go into somewhere else just so we're not in like we're getting shot at tunnel?
I will need you to roll with Sharp.
Okay. So I got a 7.
Okay, that is one
Oh,
question.
sorry. 8.
Perfect. Still one question, so I assume you're going with where's my best escape route?
Yeah, where's my escape route?
Perfect. Yes, you can look a little ways down the alley, and you can see that there is probably what you would assume is a kitchen door that is hanging open. You can see the light spilling out from inside of it. You can see like steam coming out also. Clearly, this is where somebody's cooking. They've opened the door for ventilation and to let things cool down a little bit. How long it's going to stay open now that there's gunfire in the alley is debatable, but you do see that.
Perfect. And then I want to know if we're anywhere close to my friend Jolly, the elf cryptozoologist and taxidermist's shop, because we might be able to hunker down there and hide behind some animals, at least, go out, buy some time.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be, literally. Yes, that is in this neighborhood for sure. It's a couple blocks away. So you'd have to deal with the immediate threat first.
Right, but once we're out there, I could navigate us. I could navigate us there.
100%.
Okay, then Goldface is going to say to the group, "Follow me," and I'm going to break cover and book it towards that kitchen door.
All right. Nova, you want to do anything, or are you just following?
For now, I'm just gonna follow because hard is not my good stat.
Perfect. And then I just need to check in and see, is everybody following Goldface?
Mhm.
Great. Okay, cool. Awesome. So then what I'm gonna do, okay, cool. That is very good and cool. These people are going to fire back at you as you duck for the entrance. But let's see how this goes. There are 2 of them. Okay. The obvious target is going to be Baroness, just because of you're the only one that shot at them, and you're also the largest. Okay. Perfect. So that is going to be 3 wounds. If you have armor, that subtracts from that automatically. And I'm going to say
A for ballistic vest.
yes. Yay for ballistic vest. We love a ballistic vest. Nova, I'm going to say you catch a stray. They were aiming for Baroness, but you're going to catch a stray.
Okay.
For 2 harm, 2 wounds rather. And if you same thing, if you have armor, that also subtracts from that automatically.
One of those.
Perfect. Okay. But you get shot at a couple times, and then you duck into the open doorway and immediately find yourselves in a kitchen where people are actively cooking around you. It is Christmas Eve. There's just a couple of people here, kind of just like minding a few pots, smoking. They look up shocked as you run in, but it's Shadowrun, so they kind of get the picture quickly enough, and they just sort of step to the side to clear the lanes.
May I ask what they're making?
You would guess it's a soup of some kind.
As I run through, Goldface dips a finger in and goes, "Needs more salt?"
It does, in fact, need more salt. And then after one of the cooks, who is a dwarf, is going to yell after you and is going to say, "Who asked?"
It's Christmas. Consider it a gift.
Oh, that's great. Because that's the beginning of our little like conga through. And at the end, I'm gonna steal one of their like personal bags of chips, like on the back kitchen wall where all their water bottles and snacks and everything. I'm just gonna
absolutely.
grab the chips as I go through. Thank you. And just
You burst out through the kitchen door and you find yourselves in a restaurant that is pretty deserted. There's just like one couple seated at a table eating. They look up, alarmed, but not that alarmed as you rush through. There's like a waiter behind the counter who also kind of glances over at you all, sort of disinterested, and is, I think the waiter probably like sighs and looks a little exhausted. And it's just like, please don't break anything.
We haven't. We're leaving. Bye.
Cool.
Right.
And
I might drop a $5 bill or whatever out of my pocket and be like, we were never here.
5 new yen. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. It's Shadowrun, so you'd probably have to like tap some stuff and like to just transfer it over with a little
Right. Like
ching.
as I'm running by, I just boop it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, never here.
Perfect. Yeah. The waiter calls after and says, "Thank you. Please come again."
Sure,
And,
buddy.
you don't want that.
you hear more cries of alarm behind you as you rush out. You can hear somebody saying, like, yelling out, like, "Lone Star, hands up," from back in the kitchen. But by that point, you are bursting out of the front door, just kind of throwing it open, spilling out onto the street. There's still that one unmarked car on the corner, but you are now out on the street. Where would you like to go?
So do I need to make like a navigate roll to get us where, or is there some, like, do I need a roll to get us where I want us to go, or can...
Absolutely not. You've been to this taxidermist shop
Of
often
course.
enough that you know exactly how to get there.
I'm there every week.
Yep.
Because
Exactly.
I'm adding to my stuffed squirrel collection.
Honestly, the biggest tragedy of this entire situation is that you don't know the state of that stuffed squirrel collection.
Oh,
Start
I
from
know,
scratch.
I just got one that's dressed like Charlemagne, and I'm really upset that I may not be able to get him back.
Is that something that's been passed down along with the mask?
I was about to ask that.
I
Yes,
love
we
a
do have a
squirrel
Generational
family
collection.
squirrel collection.
Oh my gosh. So Grandpappy's squirrels were like really not that great in quality, but there's a lot of sentimental value there. So
Absolutely. And I've just been adding, but I'm very particular about,
yeah, there's the theme, an ongoing overarching theme in a story. Sorry. I could go on forever about stuffed squirrels because
It's like
it's a thing now.
Jolly, who is the elf, who is my taxidermist. Like, this is a relationship that's been ongoing, and like, it's a conversation really to make sure that we're getting the best stuff. Sorry
Yes.
to derail us. Let's go to the taxidermist.
Perfect.
Yep.
You can
This is what we're
absolutely do
talking
that.
about on the way. Just
Yes.
about like I just got Charlemagne. Did you guys see him?
He's so cute. He's got his little crown and his little orb.
Okay, great. So because you,
Coronation Charlemagne squirrel. Oh my
this was the specific coronation variant, not to be confused with regular Charlemagne squirrel. Um, so because you are leading everybody gold-face, I do want you to roll with skilled. Not because you don't know the way, but because you are trying to do so in an unobtrusive manner.
Right, like different routes cutting
Yeah.
through. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, my skilled is +2, so would you believe I got an 11?
I would believe that. And that's perfect. So leading everybody through the streets, you can kind of stick to the back alleys and the shadows. There are a couple of times where you hear sirens go off, but you kind of are able to like stop everybody before you're out to where it can be seen. You see some Lone Star cars roll by and past your current location, but they move on. They don't seem to have spotted you. And finally, you kind of bring everybody to the back door of so sorry, what is the name of this establishment?
Well, this is Jolly's Taxidermy and Cryptozoology Library.
Right. Of course. You give it a couple knocks on the back door, and you know that Jolly is always here, kind of a workaholic, even Christmas Eve. You know, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, and that's how Jolly lives their life. You do a couple knocks on the door, and there's a little panel next to it that clicks on, and you hear a slightly garbled, slightly robotic sounding voice say, who is it?
Jolly, it's Drakenfels.
Oh, okay. What do you want?
Listen, I've got some friends here. There's an emergency. My room got blown up. My squirrels are missing, and I think we might not make it through the night.
Your squirrels are missing. Hold on. And the door opens immediately. At that point, you hear like a series of locks click on the other side, and the door opens, and you see Jolly on the other side. Would you like to describe Jolly?
I mean, I was just picturing a Keebler elf, but Jolly, I assume, is like a sort of non-binary, grizzled old elf in like a traditional elf hat, and their clothes are like very simple, but just covered in like animal fur, and I think they're probably in their sleep gear, which makes them look even more like a Santa elf.
For sure, yeah. They've got a little cap that like flops over on one side. And they look around up and down the alley, and they say, yeah, come on in.
Oh, thank you, Jolly.
Perfect. You spill into the back of the shop, which is a little bit of a horror show, just because this is a taxidermist shop. And so there are a lot of different projects that have kind of been set up here. I think the first thing that you see when you walk in is you are face to face with this big, toothy maw, this big like teeth-filled mouth full of fangs that kind of makes you jump. And then Jolly's going to say, no, don't worry about him. I'm fixing him up. And you realize that it is a barghest, which is a sort of a wolf type of creature in Shadowrun. Very dangerous, very deadly. This one clearly dead, and in the process of being taxidermied.
So Goldface is going to like lean against one of the refrigerators, maybe knocking a few frozen chipmunks or whatever to the floor.
Whoa, easy there, easy there.
Sorry. And then I'll explain what's going on to keep things short, and thank Jolly, and then wait. I'm just going to ask if we can stay here until CK's contact gets back with a more permanent safe house.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to hold up here for a few hours if you need to.
Perfect. And then I'm already thinking about how we can ambush them Home Alone style with various vicious looking animals if they actually try and if they track us here, we're using that bar gas to scare them off and whatnot.
100%.
So
absolutely. Perfect.
Is the barghast big enough for me to do the whole beast thing from Beauty at the Beast at the end when he's fighting Gaston and he like pretends to be a gargoyle? Because that would be such if we're doing Home Alone, that would anyway. Yeah, just something to think about. To think about.
It is theoretically big enough for that.
Okay, I'm down with Home Alone. I'm good with that.
Perfect. Okay. The store is not that big. The back room definitely takes up the bulk of it, and you would know this from having been here before that the storefront of Jolly's is relatively small. He keeps the big money items in the back, but there's all manner of squirrels and chipmunks and other strange creatures. I think he occasionally delves into that sort of specific brand of cryptid taxidermy where he combines different animals into jackalopes and things like that.
Absolutely 100%, but that's beneath my taste.
Yes.
That's for the taxidermy amateur, the taxidermy tourist. This is not what I'm interested in.
No, of course.
I mean, that's where the money is.
Tourist.
That's very gimmicky. You're way above that. Okay. So Jolly is gonna look around at all of you and say, "Can I get you anything? Milk, cookies?"
Yes, please.
That's all I got, actually.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm gonna start playing with some of the little squirrel like the chimeras, the chimeras, that are awful and beneath our beloved gold face.
Well, seeing this, I now know what I'm getting Baroness for Christmas next year.
I'll tell you all about that when I get back. And Jolly will walk off up a set of back stairs, actually down a set of back stairs into what's clearly like a basement or a sub basement, and we'll return imminently with milk and cookies for everybody. But that gives you a moment to catch your breath and figure out your next move if you'd like to.
And I think in the silence, CK does take the moment to be like, so, just checking in. On a scale of 1 to 10, how mad are each of you at me right now? I just, figure we should put that out there.
You're like a 2.
I'll say a 2 because it was Cratchit's call, not yours. It's getting closer to a 3 because now I've got blood on my jacket, but that's on Lone Star.
Oh, Jolly's got stuff that'll remove blood. Don't worry.
Oh, perfect.
That's true. We are in the perfect place to get blood out of materials.
I would love
Yeah,
that.
we can definitely fix that.
No,
It would attract less attention and make me feel better about myself. So
it's a lovely jacket. It goes with your figure.
no, thank
perfect.
you.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Oh no! Worse.
No!
There's the emotional damage.
Yeah, take 8 points of psychic damage.
Disappointed grandma.
I will say, that does seem to affect CK more than either of the other two. I'm pretty sure that Goldface could have been like, I'm 10 out of 10. And, CK would not look as devastated as he does for an instant after Baroness says that. And he's just
Baroness just pats his arm, I know you're suffering, but I'm not going to alleviate it. Just acknowledge it.
So good with the boundaries. So good.
Cool. Jolly will come up the basement with a plate full of cookies and glasses of milk on a tray for everybody. Set it down on the countertop and probably right next to the skin of a squirrel. Help yourself.
Do you have anything to get blood out of clothes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you're gonna have to do it. I can't stand the sight of blood.
It's all good. I just need the tools.
Okay. Yeah.
It's good.
How what? We can talk about that later, young man.
I mean, that's why I, work with dead things. There's surprisingly little blood involved in the taxidermy process.
But you got to get all the veins out, right?
Veins are fine. I don't know a
But
problem with
they have
veins.
blood.
No, you drain them first.
But then you have blood that's drained, so you need to.
I got a guy. Guy does the draining for me.
So you buy pre-drained.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
Isn't
it's not.
that
I don't buy
worse?
pre-drained. I got a guy who comes by. He does the draining. I stand in the other room. When he's done, I come in here. I finish up.
Oh,
A blood
okay.
guy.
That makes perfect sense.
I mean, you could just get an apprentice, but
I would love an apprentice. Honestly.
Goldface, would you like to be an apprentice?
Taxidermy is a dying art.
Oh, there's nothing left that I can teach him.
I
I moved on.
I don't know if I like that answer.
Have you seen his squirrels? Have you seen that Charlemagne coronation squirrel? I could have done better myself.
I thought that. Wait, does Gold Mask make them? Goldface, What? I'm sorry, but do you make them?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I thought you bought them. Okay.
I also buy them.
Okay, but the whole new level of respect. A whole new
Incredible.
level. Yeah.
Dad always said you need to have a hobby. At least that's what his dad told him. So that's what Grandpa told Dad.
So your grandfather told your dad, go get out of the house, go kill some squirrels and dress them up for a couple hours while I mess around with this gold mask in the basement.
Correct.
Just
Why? What's your family like?
Yeah.
Oh
is
no,
that
no,
not
no,
normal?
that sounds normal, but it's just I just wanted to make sure that we were clear for the children at home. So
I mean, there's regional differences to all families.
might not be squirrels, it might be possums.
Might be possums.
Oh no. In Texas it's hogs.
That is extremely fair. Are any of you taking advantage of this downtime opportunity to kind of try to figure out exactly what your circumstances are, exactly what your situation is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Now that
I
we've
just
got
wanted-
taxidermy out of the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Now that we've covered the very important taxidermy subplot of this game. Okay. Well, so CK, are you doing that? You're trying to do that? Okay, cool. Then I want you to recall. So roll with skilled.
Cool. That is a 12.
Ooh.
Rolling great tonight, everybody. Okay. So you I'm gonna say that you managed to sort of hack into the feed of the Lone Star feed to try to get some information about what's going on exactly. And I think what you find is that you basically, yeah, there's an APB. APB, yes. There's an APB out for all of you. There is a there are pictures of each of you that are included. You are not able to get too deep into the feeds, but you do find that much information. You do also find out that Cratchit has been apprehended.
Apprehended but not killed.
Not killed. Not according to the feed.
That's good. That's good. Fuck.
Do I get anything on like where they might be headed next?
That's a good question. Okay, yeah, you would hear, the last thing I'll give you is that you would hear them talking over the feed, and you would see some lines of communication that's basically the last thing you would get before your connection starts to sort of fizzle out is we are a voice that is saying we are surveying all cameras, all camera feeds, all security feeds within a 12 block radius. We'll find them soon. And then your unstable connection, which is really the only kind you're able to establish with limited tools in the back of a taxidermy shop, fizzles out.
That's fair. Yeah. So CK relays all of that to you.
CK, would you know how to find the blind spots on cameras, or say know if roofs tops have cameras pointed on them instead of the street?
I could definitely look into that.
Just trying to think of alternate routes.
No, that makes sense.
Well, I don't know where the nearest entrance would be, but there's always the Seattle Underground.
Excellent point. Goldface is one question. Well, I have two questions. How committed are we to Cratchit? Because what is the one place that you don't expect people when you're looking for them? To go back to your police station, right? Maybe that's a crazy idea.
I mean, Lone Star is pretty big, so I'm sure they don't have everyone out of the building tonight.
No, but the people who are in the building probably wouldn't be expecting us to roll in there.
Think they'd
Not
be
in
at a holiday
handcuffs.
party?
Right? They're probably getting schwasty. Little Yuletide cheer.
I went to the Lone Star Christmas party once, and it was pretty wild, not gonna lie.
So Goldface's question is, do we want to try and rescue Cratchit? Is that within the purvey of survive the night, or do we want to get out of the search radius and continue getting out, because they're obviously going to expand it as they don't find us?
Great question.
Could we look up on social media to see if any of their employees are posting pictures and see like if it is the holiday party?
Gosh.
Christmas Eve.
Incredible.
Oh boy. All right.
Because that would be amazing to crash their holiday party. I
Yeah.
would be
Will, how
100% go.
How far off script are we?
It's bold of you to assume there's a script.
Smart.
Very cool. There is a move for this. It's called citation needed. You're researching something. So roll with skills. Baroness, I'm going to say you roll this because it was your idea to check social media.
Oh, that's unfortunate for you. That's an 11.
That is totally fine.
No, it's unfortunate because you have to randomly pull shit out of your ass.
Oh,
It's like,
I'm perfectly comfortable with that. There is a the Lone Star Ball is tonight. In fact, it's not at the central precinct, of course,
oh,
but it is happening just elsewhere. And there's not a location tagged. I think they're probably strictly forbidden from doing anything like that.
Yeah, we don't want to pass out assassination coordinates.
No, exactly right. That's how you get banned off of Shadow Twitter.
CK, are you able to determine where Cratchit is being held?
I can definitely look into that.
It would be on the intake records in their
Yeah.
system, I would think, to keep track.
I feel like you probably have a move for this.
I might. I say, as I do not understand hacking at all.
Well, exactly.
Where are my moves?
This will
There.
definitely be a case of hacking, so I think you would have to use sling code probably.
That was what I was thinking.
So just out of curiosity, how does CK hack? Do you go into the matrix, or do you do your hacking externally?
Oh, I go into the Matrix. Of course I go into the Matrix.
Obviously.
I would not take that opportunity.
like, yeah.
What a silly question. Okay, perfect. So yeah, you're gonna enter the matrix, which means you are gonna have to get set up with your cyber deck and everything. What does CK look like in the matrix? The matrix is kind of this obviously it is a virtual world, but it is a world of allegory, essentially, because everything is represented by by an interpretation of what it actually is. So the Lone Star node probably looks like a Wild West jailhouse, I think. But what do you look like in the Matrix? It can look like anything.
So because I have to commit to the bit, I look like serial killer. So I look like Matthew Lillard in
Oh.
Hackers.
Perfect.
Love that for you. Love that for us.
Perfect homage.
And if there is an opportunity to use them IRL, I will also do this. But I think, in light of the question that was asked earlier, I think I have to be on rollerblades. That just is something that has to be committed to.
Bladed up through the verse,
He's
man.
6 feet
Yes.
tall on rollerblades.
Yes.
With the braids.
Mhm.
All right.
Oh,
Let me just check.
I love that
something.
movie so much. I can picture it so clearly in my head right now. Thank you, Matthew Lillard, for being amazing.
Right?
We love him for so many things.
Truly do.
The
Okay.
range. Stoner hacker. Stoner dog best friend.
Well, there's
He's
no
more
way
than
this
that.
really is. He really is. There's no way this node is not armored. So the first thing you're gonna have to do is roll sling code.
All right.
And then you're gonna have to get through the security systems.
So you're not going to believe it, but those were 2 6s.
Perfect. All right.
So that is a 13.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. So what you're gonna do basically is as Matthew Lillard on rollerblades, you are gonna see a couple of cowboys in like 10-gallon hats, very sort of silly looking, but step out of that old west, the Wild West jailhouse with like hands on their 6-shooters as you approach on your rollerblades. How would you like to proceed?
I would like to just be doing some blading around them.
Okay. Interesting. You're gonna have to stay frosty for that. 100%.
fair.
You're gonna have to roll it steady.
That's fair. That is only a 7.
Oh, yes, that's great though.
It is.
I
It
mean,
absolutely is.
Sorry, I don't want bad things.
Okay. Here's the tough choice that I'm gonna give you. You realize as you draw close enough, your cyber deck and your systems that you've built into it are able to flag these as black ice. The risk of them being black ice is that if they hurt you, if you take damage in trying to hack through them, the biofeedback is lethal. So if you die in the Matrix, you die in real life. They can basically reverse hack your cyber deck and make it hurt you. That being said, you are feeling confident you can get around them, but if you do so, you're going to take damage. Potentially a lethal amount of damage.
So I think I might reconsider that approach.
Okay.
In light of that, and instead go off to the side and see if I can find a different entrance in.
Okay. You peel off. You abandon that approach. So these 2 cowboys who have their hands on their 6-shooters are going to watch you go. They're not going to attack you if you're not trying to penetrate their node, which is not an innuendo.
I am going to yell "hack the planet" at them because how can I not?
They shake their fists at you like old
Those
men
kids.
telling you to get off their lawn. All right, cool. Yeah, you can skirt around them. That is pretty much basically. You would be aware at this point that if the Lone Star node is protected by black ice security measures, which is not surprising, really the only way you're going to be able to get through them is to beat them in a fight, essentially.
That is fair. That is fair. And
Is that
I
what you're going to do?
I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna kind of take like a lap around the building and then be like, all right, we're doing this.
All right, cool.
Ooh, I went that way and I'm coming at you from the other side. You never suspect it.
Suckers.
They hear you blading up. I mean, it's in the verse, but yeah.
So, are you going to rock and roll?
I think I am. I
Okay.
think I am.
Okay. Absolutely, go for it. Roll with hard.
Sweet. All right. Actually, I will roll with skilled, not hard, because I have born digital.
Hell yeah.
So that's not wonderful. That is a 7. The dice are now betraying me.
Okay. Well, 7 is a success still. You didn't fail, but you do have to pick a bad thing, unfortunately, that is going to happen to you. And that is going to be... Why is it so far down the list? Cool. you have to so you hit and you deal damage, but they attack you as well.
Okay.
And those are the options. Oh, you also have to choose one. Sorry. Yeah. I guess that's a good question, actually. How are you attacking them? What does that look like?
That is a good question. I was just thinking about that. So since we're in the Matrix, it can be with anything that I so choose, right?
I think so. I don't think it defines like what the how many hits you do. So I think we would translate that to just being like whatever weapon you have on you.
Okay.
So you can decide how it looks, but we'll use the harm from your real weapon.
Yeah, that tracks. So I think in that case, I know what I have is I have to look at my notes.
Do you have Ice Killer by any chance?
I don't. I wish I did. That would be really helpful right now.
That's fine.
So in the real world, I have the Ares Lightfire 70 as my gun. But I think in the Matrix, just because it's the first thing that popped into my mind, I think it presents as a hockey stick.
Perfect. Okay. Well, we're going to translate the principles as they arrive, which means that you hit and you deal damage to your target, but your target attacks you as well. And so how much damage are you dealing to the black ice?
3.
Cool. Okay. That's okay. You reach out and you swing with your hockey stick, which is just this sort of manifestation of all of your hacking prowess, and you make contact with one of the cowboys who kind of glitches slightly at the point. Like you see him sort of like stutter in place for a second as he tries to draw his 6-shooters, but the other one is still going to draw and deal damage to you. And you rolled your damage for that hockey stick attack, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Then this one's going to return the favor. And it's where are the things? There we go. Cool. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Don't love that.
It's
God
fine.
damn it.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. We're fine.
It's fine. You're gonna take 5 hits.
Cool.
Armor?
I can subtract 1, but that's it. So that'll still be 4.
Yeah. Well, actually, so you have Born Digital. So what's your Dex hardening rating? Is it 1?
It's 1.
Okay, so that's what you subtract. Got it. Okay. All right. Would you like to sling code again? It is your turn. Well, we're not doing turns, obviously. It's powered by the apocalypse. But if you're trying to I'll say this: you are outnumbered. You're a little bit outgunned. If you want to try to subvert them again with sling code, you can try that.
I'm gonna try that.
Roll with sharp.
All right, that is going to be doing math. Still only a 9.
Okay. You can choose 2 of the options, though.
All right, so
I would say you can't pick the node or device remains unaware of the intrusion because it is aware of the intrusion, but you can pick 2 of the others.
okay. I definitely want to choose the you leave no trace of your presence.
Okay.
Could I issue commands once in control of the node?
Yeah. I'll say yeah.
Okay.
I'll say yes with the so just to further the understanding of the situation, you can do that, but to obtain control of the node, you would have to overcome the ice. So you are leaving no trace of your presence, which means the ice won't be aware of you, but you're not overcoming the ice or subverting the ice, and therefore you're not taking control of a node.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'll stick with the options I've chosen so far.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You've got the black ice to contend with, but you know what's going to happen once you get past them, essentially. What's your move? What's your next move?
I think it's probably the wrong one, but I think I'm swinging at them again.
All right. With skilled.
Because the only way out is through.
True.
And that is a 12.
Awesome. Very cool. So you're going to deal your damage,
which is going to be 6.
Perfect. 6 is great. Are you attacking the same one you attacked before?
Yes.
All right. You swing your hockey stick and you manage to slice through the code of that black ice, and it disappears at the contact. It dissolves into pixels and flies away. One of the cowboys is gone, but actually you got a 12, so the other one doesn't even get a chance to attack at you. Are you going to continue swinging at the next one? Or are you attempting something else now?
I'm trying to think of what else I could attempt, because I know I need to get rid of them to move forward.
Take control of the node.
To take control of the node. Yes. Would it be possible to distract them at all?
I don't know about it distracting, but I would let you attempt to seduce or manipulate them.
You know, I can't say no to this.
Interesting. Okay. So I see that Nat 20 has been redeemed. Obviously, we're not rolling with a 20-sided die, so I would translate that as a 10 plus option.
Okay.
So I will say that if you want to attempt to seduce or manipulate this black ice to basically get it on your side, to convince it that you are the person who has like admin permissions for it, you can just succeed at that because of the channel points that were spent.
I would love to do that. See, though, I'm now very conflicted because I would like to do a combination of both. I would like to convince them that I have that authority, but I would also like to convince them that... How would I like to approach this? I'm so bad at flirting in character. I think with that, CK is just kind of like recognized, any more fighting is not going to be good, but the other side of hacking is being very good at convincing people that you have that authority and ownership. And so I think he slings the hockey stick onto his back and just kind of looks at the other black ice and says, "We don't have to do this. I mean, we never had to do this. I didn't come here for a fight. I came here because I'm meant to be here. And, I didn't think I'd be meeting someone like you when I came in."
All right. Man. Okay. What an interesting line of code. So I think the way I'm going to translate this is that you are
I also have +1 to seduce because I'm an elf, so there's also that. Very
fair. I think what we're going to do is translate this as you are sort of forcing it into a scenario with you where it has to act within certain parameters, and this is just sort of the manifestation of those parameters. And so the black ice is going to sort of tip its cowboy hat at you and say, "Then why did you come here?"
You know why I came here.
I want to hear you say it.
And I'm not sure we can keep this in like a PG-13 rating, so
Fair enough.
I think the next words would not be appropriate to say
There's
on the
one
channel.
thing I did not expect to have to do in this holiday-themed Shadowrun one-shot. It is fade to black, but that's exactly what's happening. Perfect. Okay, so a few seconds later, only a few seconds have passed, but the rest of you in the taxidermy shop would see CK sort of like jack out of the matrix, like your eyes open. I know I heard it as soon as I said it, but we're just gonna move on. And your eyes open, you sit up, you disconnect from your cyber deck, and you now have you now have access to the Lone Star node. And because of what you picked, by not taking the easy way through, you can issue commands appropriate to it, at least until somebody takes control of it back from you.
And I will say, given the damage that was done, I feel like CK is probably bleeding a bit from his ears in response to that, and is like, well, yeah, I'm in.
Oh. Well,
If
let
you're
me
a hacker,
get
you gotta
that.
say you're in.
Yeah.
It's low.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to try to heal, so that's plus skill. Oh no. That's a 5 or 7. No, it's a 7. Okay.
oh
I was just having flashbacks to the LARP where a character was killed by the medic in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Happens.
You only heal 1d4 damage. So, but that's better than not healing any or dying.
That is true. So and mark off 1 supply from your
Yeah.
from your kit.
Yeah. Son of a
DMD first.
oh, and that's only a 1. Womp,
Better than
womp.
nothing.
It is. It is better than nothing.
Slightly better than nothing. That's
Yeah.
like the bare minimum. Literally.
This is probably like I imagine pills or capsules to help with the brain bleed that you're currently experiencing as the
Yeah.
feedback.
So
Here's-
Goldface.
It's
sorry,
just,
go
it's a Excedrin. That's all it is.
Yeah. 100%.
So Goldface
And
seeing
TP
CK bleeding out of his ears and seeing that the medic is just like, here, take these pills, is like, I didn't know life was left for dead, but okay. And
Grabbing pills.
I also have I'm going to cast heal on him and take care of the rest of the 3.
Yay.
Oh, this is such an interesting dynamic also, because like I'm very curious if Baroness sees this as like cheating, because she is a healer and all of it is based on knowledge and skill and education, and you're just kind of like,
You know, I let the boy have his doodads and his finangles, but when all that magic goes away again, then it'll be right back to me.
So I imagine Goldface just like puts his hands over your ears and gets really close into your face and just starts, intoning his invocation. And I'm going to spend 3 essence to bump you up to 3, and then I have to roll plus skilled, which is a 10. So you get 3 hit points back.
Awesome.
hell yeah. Your ears stop bleeding, and you can issue some commands to the node and hopefully access some of the information that you needed to. And I think we will find out exactly what that is after a break, if that's cool with everybody. So, Evie, if you wouldn't mind.
All right,
Taking us out.
switching us over. Enjoy your break.
Thank you.
And welcome back.
Howdy, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. We are going to continue to play Shadowrun. So when we left off, serial killer had just reemerged from the Matrix with some control of the Lone Star Security node temporarily. What would you like to do with that?
I would like to see if I could find some of that intake paperwork on Cratchit to try and identify where he's being held.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. You start shuffling through some stuff, and I think, in the terms of the Matrix as we set it up, where it's sort of this prairie with that old-timey Wild West jailhouse, the black ice that you seduced somehow is really just want to give due consideration to the fact that what you would have had to do for this is to hack the black ice and inject a series of programming to make it mimic human affection. Which is so much more complicated than just blasting it and destroying it, but at the same time just so much more on brand, and I love that for you.
I love it for me too.
How many hackers can claim that?
Right.
Just alleged serial killer can do.
Anybody can destroy a black ice, but you
I
made it.
seduced one.
That's like a challenge, a hacker challenge.
Yep.
that you just achieved.
You gave it the capacity to be seduced. You made it past the Turing test, and then you seduced it. So you tell it exactly what you want, and it says, course, anything for you, darling. And it goes back into the jailhouse and then comes back a second later with an old-timey piece of parchment, like a wanted poster would be printed on, except this one is showing a constant flow of data running up it, and you translate some of that into terms that you can understand and process, and it displays on your cyber deck, and you can determine that it looks like Cratchit was what is the past tense of intake? It's not intaken, processed at the central precinct.
Okay.
He was intooked.
He was
Intooked.
Yep.
So my Goldface's thoughts are that so since there's a holiday party, perhaps we can sneak in under the radar. They wouldn't expect us to be in the jail anyway. Or is there a way you could arrange a transfer of him to somewhere, and then we could hit the convoy and bust him out?
And I feel like the way CK would approach that, I think he's going to sort of test out the second one before committing to either direction, and kind of jump back in. And I think he'd sort of framed it in terms of asking for the information, of I want to hear about this wanted man and, this dangerous criminal. And I think he's going to approach it as this guy looks like he's real dangerous. I mean, I worry about you here, and if you're the only one keeping guard over him, that's not safe. I was thinking, I think we should bring him to a more secure location where there's more eyes that can be on him. Because I wouldn't want anything to happen to you.
Okay, cool. All right. The black ice is gonna sort of reach out and just do that thing where just the tip of the finger and on your chin, tilt your head up, look at him and say, looks deep into your eyes, and says, you got nothing to worry about. I'm not going anywhere. But
can you promise me that? How can you promise me that?
Maybe you're right. Maybe it would be better to get him out of our lives entirely. I can make that happen.
And I think CK is a little concerned about that direction, and is just like, well, what did you have in mind, darling?
The human emulating process is not complicated enough for this, and so he kind of like the affectation stops. He gets very stiff. Again, I heard it as soon as I said it, but we're going to move on from it. And says in a very robotic voice, requesting parameters.
And I think CK is going to like double check with the others, but be like, it looks like we could arrange for a transfer. Think we could hit a convoy?
That would be easier than being the convoy, I'm guessing, because we don't have a solid way to get a convoy-esque vehicle in a short amount of time.
They could deliver us hardware in addition to Cratchit.
Like, just we're meeting the convoy and they're like, here you go. We'll be like, thanks. Enjoy the party. Wish we could have had a night off or something.
I mean, I was going a more ambush, gun them down.
Oh, okay. I mean, that works
steal
too.
their shit sort of route, but I mean, we do have a talented face in the party, so
we could do a combination of both and try to sweet talk them into it. And if we fuck up, then we have a backup plan of just killing everybody and taking their shit.
Kill them all.
The old one too.
Always a solid plan B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we would just need to be careful because they do have our faces. And right now there's a 12-block radius, so we got to make sure the route we send them on is not in the current 12-block radius they're searching.
Can Golden Face ask the universe if they have just a picture of his mask?
I mean, I think they would have to be all that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think CK could confirm that.
Mm-hmm, yep.
So, if we could get me a Lone Star uniform and I take off the mask, they have no idea who I am.
You'd be willing to do that?
For Cratchit, who got my dad through some really shitty times, when my dad lost not one, not two, but 3 of his prize squirrels, do you know who tracked them down? Cratchit did.
What a guy.
For Cratchit, yeah, I'd take this mask off.
Damn.
Christmas miracle. Oh my god. I'm not choked up. It's fine.
Cool. Okay. So
That's
are
amazing.
you setting these as the parameters for your Black Eyes friend?
I think so. I think CK's thought is like working with the rest of the team, creating a good alias for Goldface, and having that be the plan of, he'll kind of take point, and that way, we'll be around for backup, but he'll be the one meeting the transportation.
If you try to tell the node that you want the transfer to happen any sooner than January 1st, it will actually probably January 2nd, to be fair. You will get an error. Just because there are no transfers that are going to happen between now and the new year.
Okay.
So much for that plan.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely something your crew can do. It just doesn't change the parameters of survive the night.
Right. Maybe that's a back burner thing then. Okay.
You do know where he's being held, though.
That's right. We
If
could
you want to try to do a variation on this plan, you can
and
do
in
that.
fact, could you set up a false Lone Star identity for me, and we could pretend I've captured you? And I'm going to cut open my hand and like smear blood on my mask and be like, Goldface didn't make it. Killed attempting to escape.
Damn.
You know what? I don't see why not.
We got to be set up with some solid clearance, though, so they don't just take CK away from you.
Right. Can you make me like an undercover operative so I don't have to be in like Lone Star gear? If that makes sense.
I can see what I can do.
With ultra high clearance.
So you want to try to insert Goldface as a vice cop
Basically,
undercover?
yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, all right. Yeah, you have access to the node. I don't think they've caught on to what you're doing yet, so I will say yes. But I will say that this is probably the highest level of clearance that you're able to obtain as like one person trying to get through this incredibly complicated system. I think you were able to give a fairly high rank as an undercover vice cop to Goldface, but that's about the most you can do with the level of access to the system that you have currently.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will also say that as you are doing this, you would see the second black ice has started to reformat itself. So it's kind of being built from like the boots up out of pixels that are sort of slowly reforming into its original shape.
And I think CK will kind of pop out briefly and say, all right, profile set. We've got, an alias for you. Anything else? Because I'm pretty sure I'm about to lose control of this node.
Can you unlock any doors or like?
Can you or like copy the code to make our own ID card? Like, that was good, Baroness. That was good.
And so I think I will see if I can pull together any codes, as well as get as many schematics as is possible.
Okay. You can obtain some like baseline codes and some very basic schematics, but not like the deep top secret like infrastructure stuff.
So not where Cratchit would be held, like what part of the building?
No, I don't think so. I mean, once you'd probably know that he wasn't put into like, you know that he's in holding currently. So probably like Gen Pop, not top, not like high security or anything like that. He hasn't been evaluated yet as a threat risk or anything. So you'd be able to see in his record that he hasn't been assigned like a threat rating, which would tell you a little bit more about where he's going, which means he's still in holding.
Right, but it also means we need to move quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it also means that we can frame it as a general prison breakout instead of trying to get Cratchit specifically.
Yeah. It just gets lost in the mix.
I think that's a great plan.
It's a very good
Is
plan.
there a way that we can set up like a comm link so that Nova can hear and like talk into my ear what I should be saying, because I am not smooth. And so like the downside of me not having, being unknown is that I am not good in these social situations. So like if Nova could be listening in and like if you could mutter the right things to say, that would probably be very helpful.
You have comm links.
I was gonna say I have that in my gear.
Yeah, you all have comm links, so you can use them until such time as.
You.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh wait, hold on. Okay, there we go. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, I missed that. What do we decide?
We all have comm links.
Yeah, you all do have comm links listed in your gear, so there's no reason that wouldn't work.
Perfect. Then I think Detective Sergeant Chris Kringle is ready to bring in these criminals.
Perfect. It's a Christmas miracle. You've apprehended the wanted suspects. All right, cool. So you've got that in place.
I'm also going to say that Jolly was the one who tipped us off so that they don't think that Jolly was involved.
I really appreciate that. I'm trying to run a business here.
Yeah, I understand, man. I get it.
The last thing I need is more Lone Star breathing down my neck.
More?
Oh, yeah, it's
illegal corpse moving. Yeah.
Yeah. I deal in the wet works market on occasion.
Fair point. Alrighty. So we're gonna cause a scene. Awesome.
So you've got a plan in place. And you it sounds like you're trying to get to the Lone Star Central Precinct.
Yes.
How do you want to do that? There's
So-
still the Undercity. You could try to move across the city itself, not being caught. Up to you.
Baroness, do you know your way underground? Could you get us there?
Yep, definitely could. I also know a doctor over at Overlake that might be at the ER that might be able to get us like an ambulance or something.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That would be good.
That's a very good idea.
No one's gonna stop the ambulance.
Yeah. We can just say, oh, there's an emergency and push past everyone.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. And then the only other piece that I think is we're still waiting on CK's contact to come through with a safe house that we can get to once we've got Cratchit and sprung him.
Mm-hmm.
Love it when a
Hopefully
play
that
comes
gets-
together.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Well, so Baroness, the first thing we're gonna do is you're gonna pull strings on your doctor contact, which means you're gonna roll with smooth.
Oh no. Which dice have been nice? Because I am superstitious. Not just a little stitious. Okay, that's okay. That's a 10.
All right.
Hey.
That is very okay.
I got a -1 in smooth, so that's why I'm like, ah.
You hit up your doctor friend who is very tired and beleaguered and sounds very frustrated with the fact that you're reaching out for a favor. They're probably like, tonight, really.
Well, it might be a full moon, and I know that's always busy, but I might be dead in the morning. Otherwise, I will be dead in the morning. Otherwise,
I could get you a job. I could just get you a job.
They
Yeah,
always
that's very-
ask about that education stuff, and I don't know.
On the plus side, you rarely have to worry about being dead the next morning.
And we'll talk. If I make it to the morning, we will have coffee, and we will talk about it.
Right. Okay. One ambulance. Is this the right place? The taxidermy shop?
Yes, it's not for animals. Well, we won't. I won't let it get messy. Might get bullets in it, but that's normal.
Fine.
It is. You don't know what part of town we're going to.
That's
Going down by the old stadium.
fair. All right. It'll be there as soon as I can get it there.
In this future, the Mariners' beautiful, lovely stadium is in a rundown part of town again.
It's true. It is true. I also just realized this is a big favor because ambulances, hospital ambulances, probably don't go out for just anyone since Dock Wagon is a thing. But
So yeah, I'll have to work at the hospital with them. That will be the debt that I owe.
one last job for Baroness.
Yep. Oh, I love it. I'm almost like John Malkovich in Red.
Great pull. Perfect. Okay, so you know that there's an ambulance on its way to your location, and I would say that around that, while you're standing around and figuring all of this out, serial killer, you would get a ping from your contact, who sounds much more in possession of his faculties at this point, and is going to say, "Okay, I found a place."
All right. What type of place?
It's a bar. Guy owes me a favor. It's going to be closed for the night, obviously, but
Okay.
he'll put you up. You can stay there for as long as you need to.
And you know this guy well enough, or you've had enough time with him that he's on the up and up.
He owes me a favor.
Okay. That's all I
He
need to hear.
hates authority, like me.
Good.
Zero cool.
Incredible. That's
I
why I
don't
like you.
respect it, and I never will.
Zero, this is why you're my favorite.
No, you're my favorite.
No, you're my favorite.
No, you're my favorite. Hack the planet.
Hack the planet.
Confirmed in the future, all of the characters of hackers exist, and they're in a giant polycule.
100%.
You're not wrong.
I'm picturing that like these two just belong to like a hackers cosplay community
Oh no!
where this is more of a fandom thing than it is the canon hackers characters.
Elevated fandom.
Mhm.
Or a
I think
king,
that track.
borderline king. You know,
Clearly
you
still a
never know.
polycule situation.
Oh yes, 110%.
It's just always kind of weird when like you see like a zero cool with a zero cool. Like that's a little off-putting, but
But you get used to it after a
yeah,
while.
yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
Jesus.
Great. So he would let you know he's going to sign off after he yells "Hack the planet" one more time, but he'll send you the coordinates to a bar called Tiny Tim's.
I was waiting for that.
Amazing.
Seasonally appropriate. All right.
Yeah. Themes.
All right, we've got our safe house. It's at Tiny Tim's.
All right. Well, I think we've got a cunning plan that cannot fail.
I don't see how it could. Perfect. All right, great.
Simultaneously the best and worst sentence. A cutting plan that cannot fail.
Mm.
I mean, we'll see how it plays out. That's the thing about Powered by the Apocalypse, right? Is we are playing to find out what happens. Hell yeah. Cool. So you spend you get a little bit more downtime. You eat some more cookies, drink some milk. You can get a quick lesson on taxidermy if you want to from Jolly, but if you're not interested, that's fine. He respects that. He knows the hobby's not for everybody. He's not going to try to push it on you. He's very respectful.
Can I recharge my essence that I spent to heal up
I'll
CK?
say yeah. I mean, this is downtime, so seems only
Okay.
fair.
That's mostly just eating cookies and drinking milk and vibing with my favorite squirrels.
Yep.
If I would have been able to grab a disguise kit from the safe house before we booked it, I would have spent the downtime kind of adjusting my appearance as best I could with contour and a wig. So
Perfect. Yeah, I think that is very effective. Is your plan then to go in as not Nova? Is your plan with the disguise to try to present yourself as like we could do a quick revision, and if you want to try to be partners or something like that?
certainly be partners. Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah, that means I don't have to do the talking, which is perfect.
You just gotta be holding the prisoner.
Great. Okay. So you've got two people between the disguise. It's a little risky, but it's probably worth the risk. And then Goldface with the mask off, bringing in Serial Killer and Baroness, who, to be fair, probably have the longest rap sheets out of the four of you. So that definitely makes sense.
And I think we should have like a duffel bag with all of your weapons that we've confiscated so that we can then just get them back to you as soon as we need them.
Amazing. That sounds perfect. So after about an hour or so, because it's the holidays, an ambulance will pull up outside of the taxidermy shop, sirens going, and it'll cut those lights off and the sirens as you hear it pull to a stop.
All right, I think it's go time.
Cool. There is a paramedic who greets you at the ambulance itself. We'll say an elf who looks over all of you, looks very tired, bags under his eyes, sort of permanently has like a cup of coffee in one hand, looks over all of you and says, we're going to the Central Precinct.
That's right. I'm Detective Sergeant Chris Kringle. I'm a grizzled street cop with a can-do attitude, and this is my partner. And I'm going to point to Nova.
I don't need to know. but
Well, we apprehended these two miscreants. You understand?
no, I'm here on a favor. You don't have to sell me on your story. I already know we're doing some illegal shit.
Oh. Okay. Goldface is definitely a little crestfallen.
You
Oh,
might want to work on that, though. Are you going to be doing the line? Because I didn't believe any of that. It felt very rehearsed, if I'm being honest.
Well,
We're
everybody's a
workshopping it.
critic.
We're workshopping it.
oh, poor baby.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, give him an extra cookie.
But if you were ever interested in getting into taxidermy, he is definitely your guy.
You like squirrels?
No, not particularly.
Don't lead with it. Don't lead with.
Stop
You like
asking
squirrels.
people if they like squirrels.
Goldface like
Off-putting.
wraps. He like takes the sides of his terry cloth robe and like wraps them around himself and just sort of flops himself down a little sullenly.
The driver has a name tag on the paramedic's coat that you can see. It just says Dickens across it. And we'll open
Okay,
the back doors.
Charlie.
We'll open the back doors of the ambulance and say, let's get this over with, shall we? There's people who
Yeah.
actually need my help tonight.
Oh, I'm gonna tip him. Hold on, where's my money at? I rolled for that and I rolled good. I is gonna tip him 200 new yen.
Ooh.
Nice.
He will of course accept it, but he will accept it like it is exactly what he is due. Not
Yeah.
with gratitude, just like
Yep,
yeah, that makes
Yep.
sense.
yep. And then crawl into the back and hunker.
All right. Yeah, you all get into the back of the ambulance, and he is going to start driving. He's going to turn his head and he's going to say, hold on. And there's a crazy montage of him turning on the sirens and flying through the street. There's like an orc metal band that's playing in the background as he does so, just sort of screaming through the Seattle streets on this snowy Christmas Eve night. And all too soon, the brakes screech to a halt outside of the Lone Star Central Precinct building downtown, which, contrary to how it appears in virtual reality, is just this sort of sprawling mega tower with the Lone Star insignia. You would probably be aware that the actual jail itself takes up a relatively small amount of the real estate of this mega tower. Lone Star is a mega corp, so it probably gets very corporate and very boring and officey the higher up the tower you go.
Nova, what's your undercover alias?
Undercover alias. Gryla K. Rampus. It's
All
too
right,
on the
detectives.
nose.
No,
You were going with Chris Kringle.
I'm Chris Kringles. So I'm
Kringles.
about as on the nose as we can get. So we'll unload, and I assume. Okay, can we retcon that that Jolly had something that we could bind them with? That was.
Oh,
You know.
he's got so many. Yeah, he's got handcuffs. He's got handcuffs galore.
Okay. But is there a way we can do it where they could like easily sort of bust out of them?
Okay. I would say we'll have to roll for that. You'd be modifying them, but sure, we'll make that stay frosty. We'll say that you're kind of doing it on the fly. It occurs to you that would be a good move. So roll
Right.
with steady.
Okay, I have a +2 in steady. That feels good. That's 2 6s. I'm just
Perfect.
waiting for this other shoe to drop.
Oh yeah, these are very high-tech handcuffs, so you're kind of able to rig them so that the grip that they actually like the holding force of them is minuscule. Like they're barely hanging on as it is. You can pop out of them by twisting your wrist too hard.
Do I want to say that Grandpa taught me how to do that too?
Yes, obviously you do. I feel
Was
like you
there
wouldn't
any
ask if you
question?
didn't want to.
Yeah, it's an old trick Grandpa taught me.
just gets more and more interesting.
Is your grandpappy still alive?
No, he got squished by a wardrobe.
Oh,
That's
was
so
him.
tragic.
Yeah, a wardrobe.
That's a shame.
I'm counting two spin-offs already. We've got the adventures of the original Goldface, and then we've got Kringle and Rampus, the buddy cop movie.
I love it.
Perfect.
So
The real
let's
question
take
is
him to booking.
right. Which one of you is the straight good cop, and which one of you is the wild cannon?
That's hard.
That is hard.
I mean,
No,
I feel like with Goldface's background, the Kringle's gotta be the wild cannon.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's a
I'm
wild
a grizzled
cannon.
street cop who's a wild cannon. You never know what my next move is.
That's why we're partners.
Exactly.
That's right. She keeps me
Exactly.
in line.
Damn it, Kringle.
You don't want to see when she's not around. I'm so mean and bad. I know exactly how to hurt you.
I know
In
if you've been
ways.
naughty.
Oh God. That might be another type of
Naughty cop and nice
interrogation.
cop.
Nice cop and naughty cop.
Yes. You're going on a list. Which one?
And it makes
Oh.
and it's a nice juxtaposition because Detective Rampus is actually the nice one,
Yeah,
and Chris Kringle's the naughty one.
changed it up.
Now we expect.
Keep you on your
Nope.
toes.
Perfect. You load out of the ambulance with most of CK and Baroness's gear tucked into like a bag for holding purposes. The two of you go on in, kind of losing it at the fact that you're wearing just the robe still and the shirt and the shorts.
It's all part of my undercover gear, man. Gotta
Yeah,
blend
no.
with these losers.
I get it.
That's why he's the wild cannon.
It's true. Yeah.
Much more put together in comparison.
It just occurred to me that I combined wild card and loose cannon into wild cannon, and I'm
We
just gonna
love
stick
it.
with
No, I love that.
Oh, that
so much.
feels very appropriate for
Yeah.
Goldface.
It's true. Okay, perfect. So you can walk basically into the front of the precinct, and there's probably one very tired-looking Lone Star security agent behind the desk, not paying attention to you at all, like watching How the Grinch Stole Christmas on the tiny little security screen behind the desk.
What's the
I
name
was
on the
going-
name tag?
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
I
his
just
name.
want to give that a quick scan
Yeah.
before he notices us.
Gosh, that's a good question. Marley.
Love it.
I was
will
going to say
say-
he might notice us because I will say CK is definitely putting on a show. He's being careful to not accidentally break the handcuffs sooner, but he is like, "Get your hands off me, man! What the fuck?
I will
You
say
suck! What the
Goldface,
hell is a name like Chris Kringle?"
Goldface has taken off his mask.
Oh, that's a very important distinction.
Yeah, so he's got the mask in one hand and it's got blood smeared all over it, and he is just the most generic looking dude you have ever seen in your life.
Aw.
Just like very plain, maybe early 20s, like maybe Italian, maybe Turkish, maybe Spanish, ancestry.
Mediterranean-ish.
Right, he's Mediterranean. But just like if you were playing a video game and there's like the generic human being that you get at the beginning, that is what he is. So he takes a moment and he looks at you all and he gives you the don't fucking say anything. And then he will put on his game face.
All right. Your outburst, CK, Officer Marley's eyebrows will go up and he'll sort of stand up and look at the two of you who are not handcuffed as you come in, and he'll say, what is this?
Officer Marley, good evening. We were on assignment and we just happened to come across some wanted felons tonight. So the stars have aligned for a Christmas miracle, it seems.
What are you Vice?
Obviously.
I'm gonna need your credentials.
Okay,
Listen, man,
you
we
can...
can't be carrying credentials around with us when you're dealing with scum like this. If you were a grizzled street cop like me who was a wild cannon, you'd know that.
Easy, Kringle, easy. Yeah, it's okay. You can look up, because you put our names in the system, right, CK? Yeah, it's Bradley K. Rampus and Christopher Kringle.
My friends call me Chris, so you can call me Christopher.
It's been a night. It's been a night for him.
He types on the virtual keyboard of the console behind the desk and nods to himself, looks up at you, looks back down, and says, "Yeah, I mean, everything checks out." And looks over at CK and is like, "Wow, that guy really hates authority."
Yeah, I do. Hack the planet.
You won't shut up about how we're trashing his rights. It's ridiculous. Anyway, how's your night going? You going to the party later?
No, I drew the short straw.
Oh, the full
unfortunately.
shift. Oh,
Yeah.
that's next year. Hopefully next year you get it off.
Maybe. I keep hoping. Every year I accidentally get the short straw and I hate it. But
You
it
should
keeps
hate authority
happening.
too. You should hate him
Easy,
too.
easy,
Look what they're
kid.
doing to
Hey.
you.
Kid, zip it.
Look.
I love authority.
Look, Marley, it's the holidays.
I
You make
heart
this
passion
so
them.
easy for us. I'll put in a good word for you to try to get you off next year.
Wow, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much,
The
Rampus.
holidays, we got to look out for each other.
Yeah,
If
no,
you
it's
don't
clear.
help us out, I'm gonna tell Mr. Klaus, and you're gonna be on his naughty list, and you're never making that party.
He looks down at the screen again and says, "Yeah, I can see it, right here in your file, and it's clear why you're the nice one and why you're the naughty one." It says it right here.
Yeah, we balance each other out there, which is good.
I can see that. I'd watch a show about the two of you.
Would you? Oh man.
It's a real interesting dynamic, the thing
Yeah.
that you guys got.
I've never seen
Yeah.
anything like it before, honestly. I don't watch a lot of movies or TV shows, but I've never seen anything like it. It's very captivating.
A workplace, like my workplace, you're like people I work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, I just relate to the two of you so much. So, all right. Well, I guess we should get them set for booking.
Yeah, we'll handle that since we brought him in. Look, we don't want to interrupt any more of your night because, everything going on. And, you look like you're in the middle of a classic, so we can handle it for you.
All right. I'll let you into holding.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And so he will hit a switch behind his desk, and the door that is indeed marked holding over the doorway will swing open automatically. There'll be a buzzing noise as it unlocks itself, swings open, and beyond it you can see the initial intake room, where there would probably be a slot in the wall to deposit personal belongings, kind of like a garbage chute or like a laundry chute deal. Presumably wherever it leads, they'll sort it out. And there's also the setup marked like X's on the floors where they should stand in order for their photos to be taken as part of the intake process.
All right.
As you move in, Marley will hit the switch again, and the door will swing shut behind you.
I whisper, CK, that's something you could take care of later, right?
We're gonna hope so. I can certainly try.
So, obviously, we can see where the cameras in this room are, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can see that there are a couple. There's like one in opposite corners of the room, and then there's one that is more of like just a lens set into the wall. That is clearly where the photos are taken.
Okay.
It's opposite that standing area with the X's on the floor.
Gotcha. So, I'm not seeing any blind spots in particular, right?
Not really. If you stand in like the far left corner, you might be out of camera frame, but all four of you, especially with Baroness, no.
That should be fine, because I'm thinking I'll go through processing Baroness while Kringle keeps CK in that corner to keep him from doing any nonsense so that CK can be the one off camera, and that way it looks like Kringle is standing over him.
Okay, cool.
For any hacking shit.
Sure. Okay, cool. So if you are going to stand, so I will say this, if you're going to stand on the X's on the floor, you are going to be put into the system, because that all happens pretty much automatically. Like it snaps your photo and then it pretty much puts you into the system.
Is there processing steps to take before that?
Not
Like going
really.
through inventory or anything? Or
No, you just kind of drop everybody's stuff in there and then get them to stand on the X.
okay.
All right. Well, we're not dropping this stuff.
No, but you can do things a little bit out of order, maybe. Because you're so nervous at CK. But Baroness would already be in the system.
And it's gonna get erased in the morning anyway.
Right. It's getting deleted. So
That's the idea.
It's
So,
fine.
like, I just kind of give you a look to kind of be like, you cool with this?
Yeah. The entire time Baroness has been crying and be like, I'm just a grandmother who's baking cookies.
Okay, ma'am. I'm just gonna like comfort her and just be like, Kringle, can you take this kid off in the corner so he doesn't upset her more so we can get this done quicker? Like,
this kid who hates authority. Yeah.
yeah, just
We're
make him
going-
sit and chill.
I love
All right.
authority so much.
Okay, ma'am. I know it's. Look, ma'am, it's really about who you associate with that rubs off on you. All right? I know you seem like you just went the wrong way, and it's real sad. But you know what? These are the consequences. All right. So let's just not make it any harder than it has to be. We'll get you booked and everything. There'll be a bench you can sit on and hold until they decide what to do with you. Okay?
You guys are
Get
such
somebody-
monsters. Doing this to an old
Somebody
lady.
Didn't I tell
please
you to
call my
sit?
grandson.
Her grandson. Come on.
He can visit.
You'll get a call.
Maybe
once
he
you
can put in a
process.
good word for her.
Uh,
So while
yeah.
we're putting on a show, basically.
Oh,
For the
absolutely.
cameras,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
anyone watching.
Marley is enraptured. It's like, this is my favorite show now.
They arrest grannies and political activists. Yes.
Incredible. Fantastic. Okay. So yeah, you go through the processing system, but faking it the whole way, Baroness gets a very like exaggerated mid-sob photo in the system. I'm picturing like CK is just like still handcuffed, just like double middle fingers at the camera. Perfect.
Were you going to do any hacking while I had you in the one blind spot? That was
Yes,
my
is
question,
it-
because that was kind of
That
why
is
I had
enough
Kringle put you there.
Yep.
Yes, I
What
would
would you
love
like to
to. I would like, if it is at all possible, to be able to like take control of those doors. So when we need to open them later, it's
Okay.
not going to be dependent on
On our key card things.
yes.
You're slinging code again, so roll it
I
sharp.
am. So that's not going to happen. That is a 5.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
Happening.
Which I think makes sense because I probably don't have access to everything I would typically have access to. Or
Right.
at least it would be hard to
Like on
have
your
that out
meta.
without it being noticed. So
Yeah, you're kind of doing this without what is called full diving and entering the matrix. So you're definitely at a disadvantage, and that does make sense. And basically, you just find yourself locked out. You're just trying to use your cyber deck like basically like a computer, and you can't convince it to fall in love with you without full diving. So your greatest weapon is not available to you.
I am cut off from it, alas.
Is there a way for us? Is there like a keycard access for us to get out?
Yeah, there is.
Like so,
there-
if there's a prison break and we happen to unalive a guard or two, and they happen to have a key card that would happen to let us get out, that's a possibility.
It's a possibility. Yeah, you don't know exactly what would happen to the security systems if a riot happens. There might be some kind of lockdown procedure, but yes,
What about a fire alarm? You can't lock down during a fire alarm.
that is true. Again, you're kind of just guessing, but that is a smart thought that you could absolutely explore.
I haven't met a prison yet that can hold Chris Kringle. We'll be fine.
Why don't we actually do this? There is a thing. Roll with skilled Nova.
Okay. Is a 9.
All right. I will give you a general impression that is, yeah, I'll give you a general impression that, yes, you feel like you're onto something. The
Okay.
building could not possibly go into a lockdown when a fire alarm is triggered. If there's a fire in the building, people have to be able to get out.
Yep, I'm just gonna kind of murmur under my breath into the comm link, like, yep, they've got good security here, good fire system, should work to make sure everyone gets out safely in the event of an emergency. Just really good stuff, good stuff. Just to kind of tip CK off that maybe explore the fire system. Maybe they're, because it's not full of as much information as the main data system, it might have less security on it. On off chance. It might not be under as many locks and keys.
And I feel like CK, will just kind of nod in acknowledgement that he's heard that.
So I think we should get them into processing. And then are we thinking that they will go into processing and hook up with Cratchit, and then maybe we can do something on the outside to get them out as necessary? Or are we going into processing with them?
I assumed we were going to escort them into the cell where Cratchit is.
I think that's a good plan, because then we've got hold of their equipment, so then we can be operating at full capacity once we're in there.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So after you are done with processing, after you have had both Baroness and CK get their photos taken, and the data has been automatically entered in the system, which probably reads your SIN, your identification number, and logs you that way. The second door in intake will swing open again automatically, and will give you access into the prison structure itself. The outermost layer of the Lone Star prison structure here in Central Precinct, which is holding now that you're out of intake. And you can again see that this is, like the system told you earlier when you seduced it, basically gen pop for holding. You can see all kinds of people who are gathered here on the other side of the bars from you. And as a matter of fact, it's probably not bars. It's probably sort of this like plexiglass material that is obviously much harder than plexiglass, but basically like you're looking at them like they're in a fish tank or something. And I think it's not hard for you to pick out Cratchit, whose his eyes don't betray anything, but they do. He looks at you and he maintains that gaze, but he does not react to you being there.
Just like Dad always said, cool in a crisis.
There is there's like one of those what is it? There's a door that feeds into like a central area, and then another door that lets you into holding, basically to guarantee that you're never opening the door to holding, and risking that people might escape or rush you or anything like that.
How full is Gen Pop tonight?
It's Christmas Eve, so it's pretty full. It's pretty crowded in here. But a lot of them, it just seems like they're a little too drunk.
I was going to say, I can smell the vomit through the plexiglass.
Absolutely. Yeah. It looks like that scene in Independence Day when the alien slime just hits the observation window.
Distillery in a frat house.
Is there anyone in this room, any other Lone Star officer in this room, or is it completely automated at this point?
Yeah, you have not seen a single other Lone Star officer aside from Marley. And whether that's just their confidence in the automation of their systems or the fact that everybody else is at the Christmas party, hard to say. So what do you want to do?
All right, so I think we have to make it look like one of us escorts them in, and then we are overpowered. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does.
Who I assume you're the better actor of the two of us.
It's my job, yeah.
Okay, so Rampus, you're gonna take the prisoners in and then
Yep.
Stage a jailbreak essentially.
Essentially, yep.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, you can pop open that first sealed door and then step into the interstitial area where the door will then if you don't want it to close behind you, it won't. This part, I will say, is probably not automated, so you can just leave that entrance open and make it look like you made a sloppy mistake if you want to. Then you open the second door and step through. You get people looking at you, and a lot of people probably like start to raise a protest that they're like, I didn't even do anything wrong. Why am I in here? Like all that stuff. Like I should be out there. What are you doing after that?
So I think CK is going to probably as Rampus is looking around and like kind of taking
Probably still
in
occasionally comforting Baroness, who I assume is still crying.
kind of like making it look like her attention's been so split. He's going to shift behind her and then get the handcuffs around her neck.
Ooh, very good. Very good. Very convincing. Immediately a commotion goes up from the other prisoners, and they're like, whoa, okay. Wow, that guy really hates authority.
Yeah, I do. Hack the planet.
Yep, and I've got my fingers under there to make sure he doesn't accidentally choke me and just look like I'm being choked and trying to like fight him out of it.
Baroness, what are you doing during all of this?
When CK goes hack the planet with the choking out, Baroness is gonna do yeah, you're right, and hack the planet, and then like as a kind of like mom arm, cold face to try to into like a more defensive position, so like any prisoners that decide to join in our little mini riot that's growing, don't shank them, and just so like in between like where the wall is or like where the doorway is, and so that way he can run back and I'm in between the actual prisoners and everything.
There is a moment of stunned silence. I think you yell hack the planet, you put chokehold around Nova, the Baroness joins in. Are you doing anything to contribute to this chaos, Kringle?
So I think part of it is that I'm like pretending to do something while all of this is happening, and then I'm like look up and I'm shocked, and I grab my wizard shotgun.
Okay, yeah. Standard issue police.
Standard issue wizard shotgun. And I'm going to run back to Officer Marley. And I'm going to, tap on the glass and try and get him to open the door.
Okay. Yeah. He you can tell that he's seeing what is happening because he's standing behind the desk and he's got his hands on his head and he like just looks so shocked and terrified about what's happening, and he looks over as you knock and he sees you and he like nods at you and he hits the switch to open the door and he starts coming out from behind the desk and he's like, what do we do? Kringle, what do we do?
At that point, I'm going to say, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and I'm going to smack him in the face.
Yes.
Incredible.
Oh my god.
Rock and roll.
So that's plus hard, right?
That's plus hard.
Okay. That's an 11.
Damn. All right, perfect. So that's melee combat. You just hit and deal damage. And I think I'm gonna say like it's not enough. Like I don't know how many times Goldface has done this, but it doesn't go how you think it's gonna go. He doesn't just immediately drop. Like his nose starts bleeding and he puts his hands up to his face and he's like takes a step back and he's like, ow! What?
I'm gonna hit him again.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, keep the change. Bam!
Roll hard.
God.
I shit you not. That's a 12.
He's never going to go to that Christmas party.
You're doing a really good job. I think this time you clock him in the face and his head like snaps to the side and he falls to the ground. He's not dead, but he is unconscious and just freely bleeding from his face, his entire face.
I'm then gonna like drag his body behind the like center console that I assume he's under, and in my earpiece I'm like, Marley is a ghost. Repeat, Marley is a ghost. Proceed.
Jesus.
I'm just gonna tap, lightly tap CK and just be like, "Ghost activated."
Ghost
Uh,
protocol activated.
Ghost protocol activated.
So there was that moment of silence, and the like one person, not Krampus, Cratchit is like standing up with everybody else, and again hasn't made a move yet. Is just kind of staring at you all, like everybody else is, and then one person looks around at everybody and is like, "Is this a riot? Are we rioting?"
Yeah, obviously. Hack the planet.
We're riot! And immediately, like, people are gonna start running, stampeding past you, basically out through the funnel and out of the holding cell. And
Into
some
the
of-
office building.
yeah, essentially, like into the rest of the prison complex. You don't know how easy it is for them to get access, but they're gonna probably try. You have created a riot, and there's chaos now all around you. As soon as somebody breaks something, which doesn't take long, alarms are going to start going off. And yeah, that is the environment that you are in currently.
Cratchit, let's go.
Yeah, Cratchit is going to make his way over to you as the riots begin, and is going to say, "You shouldn't have come for me."
You said survive the night.
Correct.
You're included in surviving the night. Can we haul ass? Can we walk and talk? Walk and run?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, we can do that.
Consider the favor from Honolulu settled.
Mm.
God damn it. I've been holding on to that one for a long time.
Can I see if, like, so I'm at the center console.
Keep the
Can
doors
I-
open for us.
Right, so I'm keeping the doors open, but can I see if there is like a helicopter or an armored car that we could use to get out of here?
Isn't that the ambulance?
I mean, the ambulance is there.
Is it still there? I mean, if the
yeah.
ambulance is still there, great. Then let's use that. We don't need to
I'm down to
complicate
say
this.
I'm down to say Dickens is still out there.
Dickens, my man.
Oh God, what now? Did you start a riot?
No.
That looks like a riot.
Riot's a point of view. I see people exercising their liberty and freedom.
Well, no matter what, I didn't see any of this, and if anybody asks, you forced me to help you at gunpoint. So
That's right. So we've got a +1, and they're going to be coming out now, and then we're getting to whatever coordinates the elf with the great eyes tells you we're going to.
you know what? Fair enough. Let's just get this over with. And you get Cratchit out. Are you like passing out? Are you getting your gear out of the duffel bag at this point, basically? Cool. Another actually a series of drones are eventually going to come out of like an elevator shaft. The doors will open with a ding, and there will be like 3 drones on the other side, and Cratchit is gonna grab a gun, like a fully automatic gun, out of the bag and just unload into the elevator, destroying all the drones, and is gonna just like eject the clip and say, "God bless us, everyone." And yeah,
That's where I learned it from. That's where I learned it from.
the last of the alarms are gonna like you leave them behind. They're still going off. There's chaos in the building as you pile into the back of Dickens' ambulance, and he is gonna look over at CK and say, "Where to?"
Tiny Tim's.
Right. Cool. The ambulance sirens kick on. You are peeling through the streets again. You pass like all of these Lone Star patrol cars and things that are heading in the opposite direction towards the central precinct to try to contain the riot. They don't pay any attention to you as an ambulance. In fact, sometimes they like peel out of your way, and you pull up outside of this like seedy looking bar, and there is this bald dwarf waiting by the door. with the sign overhead that says Tiny Tim. Or sorry, he's not a dwarf. He's a troll. It is an ironic name, obviously. And he like nods to you, looks around surreptitiously, and like receives you and says, honestly, I thought there'd be a lot more co-ops out on the street tonight.
I think there's a holiday party.
Yeah, that must be it. All right, come on in. And you step on into Tiny Tim's bar. It was clearly closed. Like there are still some chairs up on the table, but there are like Christmas lights strung up around it. There's the bar is still set up. The jukebox is playing some Christmas music, and you can like pull the chairs down. Tiny Tim will gesture around the room and say, "Yeah, have a seat. What can I get you?"
Bottles.
Bottles.
Got it.
It's a bottles night.
All right. Well, that was when Tiny Tim does a favor, he does it right. And he will pull down all the bottles you want, whatever the liquor is you want. He'll just sort of like be behind the bar, arms crossed over his chest, as the five of you have a seat and get drunk. Just get absolutely destroyed on Christmas Eve together. Now, Christmas Day.
What was the name of our rigger?
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to pour one out for our rigger.
Yeah, we gotta pour one out for our rigger.
Gotta
That's
have an Irish wake.
Ah, man, that's a great question. I might be out of Christmas themed names at this point.
Clara is Scrooge's love interest.
Yep. Clara it is.
To Clara.
To Clara.
She would have loved hacking those drones in the elevator.
To Clara. And the night passes. You and as the Tiny Tim, after hours of this, after hours of you just kind of like joking with each other and reminiscing, and there's a few more toasts. I think periodically, like every so often, you just do another toast. So Cratchit will raise his glass towards the end of the night, and will say, "I know I said it once already tonight, but it only seems appropriate now. Ironically, God bless us, everyone."
Yeah.
Cheers, Cratchit.
Tiny Tim sort of like, he's been leaning on the bar, almost falling asleep by this point. He picks himself up now and he says, "Look at that. Sun's coming up." And you step out the front door of Tiny Tim's into a very different Seattle, a very quiet Seattle, as every record, every criminal record, every record of activity within the Lone Star security system is purged by the virus that you injected.
Oh, hey, Bob. I got these cookies for Emily and Martha. Give them my love.
He nods, and he accepts the cookies from you, and he says, you know I will. And I think at that point you kind of slowly make your way back to your home, maybe just to investigate the damages and see how everything.
How many squirrels survived?
How many squirrels survived?
I think everybody goes to help. Like, we're invested. We need to find out now.
It looks like all of the squirrels have survived.
Christmas miracle.
Christmas miracle.
It looks like all the squirrels have arrived, and I think we'll leave off with Cratchit standing over a little cage and feeding the cookies to his little family of rats, who are named Martha and the other names.
Emily.
Emily, yes. Yep, Emily and Martha.
It's the little rat man.
His little rats.
Incredible.
None of you noticed that it was actually oatmeal raisin instead of chocolate chip the entire time.
Right.
There was a lot going on.
They're that good. Yeah, and that's the naughty list. You survived the night, you purged the records, and you saved Cratchit.
Yep.
Were you expecting us to do a prison break?
I was not expecting the prison break. No. We talked about it a little bit off air during the break, but I was like expecting a lot more bloodshed. And I was pleasantly surprised. Like I kind of knew, because I was like, okay, cool. We've got a hacker and a face and a street doc and a mage. We don't have a street samurai. We don't have a merc. It's going to be real interesting. But you did the subterfuge and the hacking and the plan really well. And Shadowrun's a thing where you can do any approach,
It
really.
was fun, yeah.
We did it the soft boy way. It's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that. It was Christmas.
No,
Revenge
Hell
is for the new year.
that's right. Oh, that's a great tagline for the show. Like
Revenge is for the new year.
coming in 2023.
Woo!
One
Oh,
rainbows.
you guys had me dying the entire time. I was just dying. I emitted high-pitched noises of delight and shock. It was great.
Perfect. Mission accomplished, everybody.
Yes.
All right. So, well, thank you so much to our entire cast. You guys did absolutely fantastic. Once again, the show was absolutely amazing. This will remain up on VOD, as well as being able to be enjoyed on our YouTube after that. Will, would you like to go ahead and do another round of who are you and where we can find you guys?
Yeah, let's do it. Hi, my name is Will. You can find me on Twitter at Will Scream. But more commonly, you can find me doing stuff with Live from the Apocalypse. And that is, I probably should have said this at the beginning, but we are in the middle of a huge fundraiser. We are in the middle of doing 12 games over 12 days. We're calling it the 12 Games of Hasmus, and that is all raising money for the International Rescue Committee. We had the first session last night and it was fantastic. The VOD is out there. It'll be up on YouTube soon. Tonight, our 5e homebrew campaign, Veilbreakers, continues, also part of Hasmus, and we'll be doing stuff for the next 12 days, not including Christmas Eve and Christmas. So follow Live from the Apocalypse, check it out. That is where I do most things. And if we're keeping the same order, Baba Yaga.
Hello, I am and will continue to be Sarah or Baba Yaga. You can find me on the Twitters at ShutUpSarah. And yeah, this has been a pleasure. This has been an absolute delight. Happy Hanukkah for those of you who are actually, I think Eastern's the only time where it's past nightfall right now, but I could be very wrong. But yeah, that's it.
And JD.
Hi, I'm JD. I can be found at JD, not Jason Dean, on all social media. I have a packed week as I will be in 2 of the games of Hasmus, playing in class reunion on our usual day and time of Tuesday, and then running Brindlewood Bay's Jingle Bell Shock on Wednesday. And then I will actually be back here with Altered Echo Archives on Friday, and on Monday I'll be with Tales from the Table doing the SCP game, A Crumbling Foundation. I do way too many things. It's going to be a chaotic week, but definitely check out all of the amazing holiday and otherwise themed stuff going on. I think that's it.
Steph.
I'm Stephanie. You can follow me at SBrownWrites on Twitter, and I lurk in Live from the Apocalypse Discord. You can also catch me in JD's running Brindlewood Bay for little old ladies solving mysteries and maybe some eldritch horrors. And also the other Hasmus game, Beast of Yule, which is a Vaesen one-shot of solving mysteries and folklore in the Scandinavian North. So it should be a good time.
And Alex.
Hi, I am Alex. You can find me on Twitter at MightiestFinn. In this week, I think I'm going to be doing a game of Backwater, the game that I wrote with my colleague Asa over at the Percentile Vice Twitch. We are wrapping up a investigation in the post-apocalyptic ruins of New Orleans. So if you're interested in Backwater, want to see what that's all about. Percentile Vice, I think Tuesday. But otherwise, this was a true joy. I had a great time with all of you. Thank you. And I hope we can get the gang together again at some point. That would be a delight.
Yeah, you guys were amazing. It was great. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah. Let's see
Lot
what we
of
can
fun.
do.
All right. So, yeah, we've got links spamming through chat, and we will see you guys next time. Keep an eye out on various social medias, especially with that new Twitter thing that's going around for our next stream. Have a great night and happy holidays.
Hi.
Bye.